Okay guys, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, evening or afternoon, wherever the time you will see these slides. Okay, I wish you are all healthy. So okay, let's continue our class on the mass spectrometry. Alright, we will learn about the mass spectrometry slow and steady. Right. Here is the course of outlines of this chapter, including the applications, glossary, principles, components, what is standard mass spectrometry, what is the hyphenated techniques, how to interpret the spectra, the advantages and disadvantages of these techniques, and how do MS get their names. Right, how do MS get their names? Not really important, just the basic. Right, let's continue. Alright, in the application of mass spectrometry is actually a lot. We can go to pharmaceutical, we can go to environmental, we can go to the chemistry research, we can go to the biological study, and also in the forensic analysis is not an exception. Okay, because in the forensic analysis, mass spectrometry is one of the important instrument, right? It's one of the important instrument. Why is that? Because in the mass spectrometry, we have the library of that we can confirm the identity of the compound. We can confirm the identity of the compound. Okay, let's say for example, we want to determine is the case involve suicide or involve poisoning. So we need mass spectrometry. Okay, we somehow know that maybe the victim die from drug overdose, but we want to know what kind of drug it is. We know that the victim is somehow have the characteristic of die due to poisoning, so we want to know what kind of poison that actually kill the victim or kill the disease, right? Alright, here is for the glossary. We will look into few terms that is really important in the mass spectrometry. Right. The first three terms here is really related. The first thing here is the molecular ion. The second thing is radical cation. The third thing is fragment ions. Molecular ion is the ion obtained by the loss of one electron from the molecule. Okay, from the molecule. Okay, to look into this, I need to draw a little bit. Okay, later I proceed. Alright, let's say in the basic principle of mass spectrometry is we have one molecule, whatever molecule you want to analyze, we bombard with electron. We bombard with the electron during the ionization process. So what happen is your molecule here will lose one electron. We somehow lose one electron. So we lose one electron plus this lah. So become two electron. So if we can write the equation is M plus E. The E attack the molecule. It will produce M positively charged radical and also it become plus Y. Become plus 2E. Alright, that is the basic what we call as the formula lah, the basic equation. Alright, so what happen is your molecule will turn into radical cation. Okay, right, let's say your molecule you want to analyze is CH3, CH2, CH3 is propane. Okay, after you bombard with the electron, okay, it will lose one electron. Okay, let's go back to basic. Okay, we agree that the number of proton inside of an atom is equal to the number of electron of an atom. Okay, let's say for carbon we have 6 number of proton. Okay, inside the nucleus of the carbon we have 6 proton, then we have the first orbital, 2 electron over there, and we have the valence orbital, we have extra 4 lah, because we have the number 4 number, right? Okay, so we have, oh, I'm not sure what happened, it's going crazy actually, my laptop, please forgive me. We have 4 valence electron of the carbon. Alright, what happened during the heating process, during the ionization process, will somehow hit one of the electron. We will remove one of the electron from the orbital. We will remove one of the electron from the orbital shell. Okay, when we remove one of the electron, it become 6 proton and 5 electron. The number of proton and electron is not the same. We know that proton is positively charged and the electron is negatively charged. So it means that when we lose the balance, one balance of the electron, so it become one positively charged. Okay, that is what we call as the ion obtained by the loss of one electron from the molecule become M+. Okay, become M+. Radical cation positively charged species with an odd number of electron. Okay, we agree that okay, we agree. Okay, we agree that in the molecule the number of the electron should be even. The number of electron inside a molecule should be even. Sepatutnya genap lah the number of electron dalam satu molecule tu. For example, if we can calculate over here, right, C6H ada berapa? H ada 3 plus 2 plus 3 we have 5, 8 plus 6 multiplied plus 18 we have basically 26 proton and 26 electron. Okay, when we remove one of the electron, it become 25 electron. Okay, ingat bila molecule tu complete, it should have an even number of electron. Okay, you can try to click again. For example, CH3OH. Okay, you boleh kira berapa banyak C6, 6 plus 3 9, 9 plus 16 you have 25, 25 plus 1 we have 26 electron. CH3OH. Remember, bila you have a molecule without any charge, okay, the molecule is complete without any charge, without ionized, is actually have an even number of electron. Okay, radical ions bila positively charged species with an odd number of electron. Remember, bila we ionize with electron during the ionization process of mass spectrometry, it will somehow reduce the number of electron by 1. Contohnya dalam situasi propane ni, dia become 25 electron, so it become a radical cation. Okay, same goes to this methanol, where we somehow bombard with 1 electron during the ionization process, it will become 25 number of electron. Okay, so bila dia become 25 electron, the number of proton is have extra positive charge compared to the electron, so it become positively charged. Okay, right. Okay, I want to also mention that for radical cations, okay, ada for the radical cations, the radical cation is not stable, is really unstable. They tend to become stable because it's not stable. Of course lah, bila tak stable dia nak berubah jadi stable. The unstable radical cation is the unstable molecule. Okay, I will show you in just a little while. Okay, sorry, what happened? Right. Let's say you have your thing over here. Okay, remember, between two bonds. Okay, let's say for example you have CH. I will show you a very simple example. Okay, a very simple example. You have actually how many number of electrons over here? You have 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6. You have how many is it? Damn. Okay, 6 plus 6 12. 12 plus 6 you have 18. You have 18 electron, right? You have 18 electron. Okay, so you have a complete over here, complete over here, complete over here, complete over here, right? You complete the shell. What happens if you remove one electron? Of course, in the calculation we get 70 E, but without one electron, it means that you cannot form a bond. It means that you cannot form a bond. Okay, bayangkan you curi satu elektron pada sini, you curi satu elektron pada sini, so you tak boleh form the bond with H. Kalau you curi bond daripada sini, you curi one electron from here, so it means that this part cannot form bond with this part, so it's not stable. So in just a short of time, we can just imagine, in just a short of time, the radical cation, that the molecule that lost an electron become radical cation, somehow tend to become fragment ions. Okay, saya ulang bahasa Melayu. Molekul yang hilang satu elektron, dia akan jadi radical cation, dan dia akan cuba berubah untuk menjadi ion yang lebih stabil, iaitu dia akan form fragment ions. Okay, they somehow want to change into more stable molecule, they change to the fragment ions. Okay, that's why if we refer to our example of compound of interest here is propane. Let's say the example here is propane, right? Okay, it can somehow attack, CH. It can attack this bond. It can attack between this. Okay, during the ionization process, it can attack all those things. If that happen, okay, you can imagine that, let's say for example you have the CC, you already lose one electron over here, so it will break the bond, so somehow this one become radical, this one become charged. Why is that? I will explain a little bit lah. Okay, takut you guys pening, tapi better we go back to basic. Okay, let's say in the example of CC, okay, CC H. Let's say in this example, okay, we already somehow steal this electron. Okay, somehow steal this electron. We imagine this, we have these two electrons, we imagine, okay, let's say somehow we steal this electron, so we steal this electron. Okay, so we have two parts, we have this and this, we have these two things. If we calculate it again, okay, kalau kat sini C dia dah, kalau kat sini C sepatutnya ada berapa elektron? How much electron should the carbon have? The carbon should have 4 valence electron, right? Should have 4 valence electron. Okay, But what happened? I'm not sure what happened. Okay, because of one already loose, we know that the electron number of this thing is less than the total number of proton by 1, so it become a positively charged. Okay, so it become CH3 plus. Okay, this one become CH3 radical. Radical is not really radical that you imagine by the UV light. The radical here only refer to the mass spectrometry. I don't want to go into that radical, the UV radical. I don't want to go into that. We focus on the radical in terms of the mass spectrometry. In the radical of in mass spectrometry, it refers to that the part of the molecule that have extra electron in the valence shell. Okay, I repeating again. In the mass spectrometry, the radical refer to the molecule that have extra electron in its valence shell that waiting for bond formation lah. Okay, so nanti sebab tu nanti you akan tengok nanti yang ni dia akan form dengan another radical lah. Dia akan form because we have the extra electron, right? So dia akan somehow yang ni dia akan combine dengan diri dia sendiri lah. Contohnya dia akan combine dengan CH3 radical juga, dia akan form another bond. Let's say can I copy this thing? Let's say I can't select. What happened? Can. Okay. Okay, this radical will combine to another radical to form a bond. They will form a new bond. Okay, that's why some of the radical will end with another radical. Radical will somehow form a neutral compound when it's combined with other radical. That's what I want to say. Okay, so okay, have I explained about the fragment ions? It's not yet, right? Okay, let's focus again for this example. Can I duplicate this thing? Okay, we have the propane as an analyte of interest. Let's say in this example we have the propane as the analyte of interest. Okay, we agree that it can somehow attack this bond or attack this bond because it's not stable. As the radical cations, it tend to break, right? Because the electron is not somehow complete to form a bond. Okay, we somehow break. Okay, so if we somehow can break this thing, we can somehow we can get CH3 radical. We can get what happened to my green. Okay, we can get CH2 plus CH3, or we can get SCH3 plus, we can get CH2 CH3 radical. We can get like this, or we can also get CH3 CH2 CH3 sorry, can I delete it? We can get CH2 plus, okay, and H radical. Okay, or we can get the H plus and also this one as the radical, alright. So that is how fragment ion forms. The lighter cations formed by the decomposition of the molecular ion. This often corresponds to the stable cations. and radical cation, maksudnya fragment ions with the radical cations formed by lighter ions and radical formed by decomposition of the molecular ion. This often, I don't think this one is correct. It's really correct. But if you have extra information about that, please tell me so. Alright. But for the time being, lighter ions formed by decomposition of the molecular ion. Radical ions, we don't have any decomposition. We don't have really decomposition of molecular ion. For the radical ions, we only lose one electron only. That's from my opinion lah. Okay, let's go for the next terms. Base peak, the most intense peaks in the MS. The most intense peak in the MS. Okay. Again, by referring to our example here, we have CH2, CH3, CH2, CH3, right? Here we agree that we have 28. We can also have how many? CH3 plus as our molecular ion. So how many is it? 6 plus 3, we have 9. We can also obtain CH2, CH3 plus. How many is it? We have 12 plus 5, we have 17. Okay, we have 17. Alright. So in the mass spectrum, let's say here is 9, here is 17, here is 28. Okay, we will see a peak for that particular charge. You will see a peak represent that particular molecular ion. Okay, let's say for example you have this peak. Better. The peak is like this. For this ion, you have this, and for this one, you have this lah. This height. Let's see. So the peak, that most abundance, here is abundance. Abundance. Here is the MZ ratio. MZ ratio refer to the molecular mass number. As you can calculate here lah. 6 plus 3 is 9. 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3 is 17. Okay, it's refer to mass to charge ratio. Right. So we can see from over here. Okay, the 17, the highest one, the highest peak here we also mention as the base peak, the most intense peak in the mass spectrum. Okay, right. MZ, mass to charge ratio, is represent the molecular mass. It's actually have the calculation, but I don't want to go into detail how to somehow get how to prove to you guys. Actually, from the formula, actually you can prove the MZ value equal to the mass number. Actually have the formula. They somehow do derivatization and get the M equal to Z equal to mass number. Mass to charge ratio equal to mass molecular number. I don't want to go into details because even myself also still trying to learn about that, still not understand about that. So I don't think I will go into detail about that. But MZ is equal to the mass molecular number of that your molecular ion. Okay, that's it for this slide. Alright, let's go to the next slide. Alright, here shows the mass spectrum from the mass spectrometry. Alright, we already know that the even number of the mass spectrum, if you obtain at the higher end of the mass charge ratio, it represents the molecular ion peak. Remember, the molecular ion peak is always even number. Your fragment ions, including this, should be in odd number. Nombor ganjil. Molecular ion, you punya number of MZ, mass to charge ratio, kena genap. Tapi on the fragment ions, the number of the MZ ratio should be odd number. Sepatutnya kena ganjil lah, tak boleh genap. Okay, the highest peak here is we call as the base peak. Maksudnya yang paling tinggi lah, paling abundance. Maksudnya dalam banyak-banyak pecahan tu, mana yang paling banyak formation. Okay, mana yang paling banyak dia terbentuk. Okay, then we have the fragment lah. The base pair also is the fragment actually. Okay, right, I'm not really sure what is the compound for this example. I'm not really sure about that. Right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, different compounds can be uniquely identified by their mass. Okay, I'm agree. Different compound can be uniquely identified by their mass. Okay, mass spectrometry is the generation, separation and characterization of cis phase ions according to their relative mass as function of charge. Okay, generation and separation, characterization of phase ion according to relative mass. Okay, right, let's go back a bit lah. Let's go back a little bit to the basic, right? Before you guys get confused, we agree that here you inject your sample, right? Let's say here is your injector, and then we have our column, your oven, your separation, whatsoever, and then you reach your detector. Alright, that is the normal one. But let's say you have mass analyzer over here. You have your mass analyzer over here, then you have your detector. Okay, what happened then, for example, you have compound 1, you have compound 2, it will somehow separated inside here. Okay, let's say you have CH3OH, and then you have CH3CH2OH. Okay, here is compound 1, here is your compound 2. Okay, based on the boiling point, of course, the boiling point of the methanol is much more lower compared to the methanol, okay, compared to ethanol lah, so it will elute first. Okay, so compound 1 we go to the mass analyzer first before the compound 2. Then compound 1 ni dia akan ionize lah. Contohnya dia akan become CH3 plus OH ke, atau menjadi CH3O plus ke, ataupun jadi CH3OH plus ke. It depends on the situation. Kat sini yang dekat mass analyzer ni, benda-benda ni yang akan separate. Okay, remember, let's say for this one you will get about what, kalau kata yang ini lepas your C1 is already reach the detector, so yang ni yang akan pergi kepada mass analyzer. So you akan dapat CH3 CH2 plus ke, you akan dapat CH3 CH2OH plus ke. All these thing dia akan spread dekat detector pula. Okay, macam yang dapat tadi lah kat sini kan. Macam you dapat dekat yang tadi. Oh, I cannot hide I can delete je. So nothing I can do. Press the eraser. Okay, maksudnya tadi yang ni semua fragment ion tu yang akan spread dekat you punya mass analyzer. Dekat column dia akan spread compound saja, but in the mass analyzer you akan spread you punya fragment ions or you punya molecular ion lah sekali. Okay, ingat alright, better I draw lain kali dekat ni lah, dekat PowerPoint, so I can refer back. Okay, mass spectrometry is the generation, separation and characterization of cis phase ions according to the relative mass as function of charge. Dia just specific separation, generation, separation and characterization. Involve 3 things lah. Dia involve 3 things. Later I sini lah. Senang. Okay, involve, the keyword is generation. Okay, you have your molecule over here, you generate, become molecular ion, okay, and radical ion. Okay, you generation from here, dia akan jadi ada apa? Dia akan jadi, contohnya you ada M1 plus, you ada M2 plus, you ada M3 plus lah, you ada banyak fragment ions, ataupun you have the molecular ion. So ini you punya molecular ion, you have you punya fragment ions, atau you punya anak-anak ion lah. Tadi parent ion lah, kita panggil sebagai parent ion atau molecular ion. You have you punya fragment ion ataupun you punya child ion, anak-anak you kat sini. Okay, so daripada sini you try, you spread, you dah generate, you spread in the mass analyzer, and you characterize relative to their mass. Okay, relative to their mass as a function of charge, right? So sample in the ion source, dia akan ionize. In the mass analyzer, yang ni dia akan spread, then dia akan present information, so you can do your characterization based on the relative mass as function of charge lah, based on the MZ charge ratio lah, MZ value, based on the MZ value lah, senang cerita. Alright. Okay, here again your sample ionize in the mass analyzer, dia akan spread, then which one akan reach detector first. Okay, dia tak kira macam siapa sampai dulu lah, dia tak kira siapa sampai dulu, dia punya ni sebenarnya lain sikit. It's not really like that lah, it's not really who come first, it's not that. It's actually they have their own calculation based on the acceleration, based on the frequency, based on the how much charge you given to somehow divert the electron. Then based on that, dia akan dapat bagi tahu you guys what is the mass charge ratio lah for that particular molecule. Alright. Alright, in this slide, a mass spectrometer needs to perform three functions: creation of ions, as we call as degeneration, separation of ions, okay, and detection of ions. Creation of ions, the sample molecules are subjected to a high energy beam of electrons, converting some of them to ions. Okay, jadilah kita kata kita have the molecule, we bombard with the electron from the ionization process, then we produce ions. Okay, then the ions, the what we call as the radical cation is not stable, so we somehow may produce fragmentations. It will produce fragmentation. It becomes different. It will produce few fragment ions as well as the molecular ions. Then they will spread lah during the mass analyzation process. Mass analyzer. The ions are separated according to the mass to charge ratio lah. Mass to charge ratio. Detection of ions, as each separated proportion of ions generated, the spectrometer needs to qualify and quantify them. Okay. Okay, so dekat sini, bila diorang dah separated, diorang akan reach akan sampai to the detector. Then the spectrometer is needed to qualify and quantify them lah. From the detector, dia akan tengok daripada mass to charge ratio tu, dia akan refer to that molecular ion. From that one particular time, dia akan produce mass spectrum, refer to the library, dan kita akan tengok balik lah dia sebenarnya compound apa. Again, before I forget about it, can we go back to basic. Ingat okay, if we look back, later I use ni kan, draw. If you look back, for example GCMS, we have the injector, right? We have the injector. When then we inject inside the column, then we reach the mass analyzer and we reach our detector. Here is mass analyzer lah. Right. Okay. Basically, you will obtain two kind of information. The first one you will obtain chromatogram. The second one you will obtain spectrum. Okay, you can obtain your spectrum. Later I do duplicate. Right. So let's say you have two compound. Right? You have compound 1 and compound 2 you want to split. So what happened, from the chromatogram you will obtain two compound. Okay, from the chromatogram. And for each chromatogram you have for each compound over here, for each peak over here, they will have their own mass spectrum. They will have their own mass spectrum lah. Okay, this what is the basic thing that I think I already mentioned in the class, but in case I forgot to mention about that, I need to mention it here lah. Okay, so where is it? I'm afraid that if I actually left something, miss something to tell you guys. I hope not lah. I hope I already told you guys about this. Ingat macam ni lah. Detector, you have your chromatogram. For the chromatogram, if you are doing at the GCMS, at the C18 or even at T05, you just right click and show the mass spectrum. Okay, show the mass spectrum. And from the mass spectrum, from here, then you can right click again, you can search for the library, and the library will show you the percentage of the probability of matching lah. Okay, right, let's go to the next slide. Alright, principle ionization to radical cations. Okay, again, molecule, the electron will bombard your molecule, the molecule will lose one of the electron, so the electron plus the electron become 2 electron lah. So the molecule become radical cation. Radical cation is not stable, there we go, fragmentation process. So the fragmentation process, it will somehow spread into cation and radical. Radicals refers to the part of molecule that have extra electron in their shell, waiting for the bonding process with another radical. Contohnya, you have CH3 radical, you have one valence shell, and you have H radical. So the H will somehow produce radical with the will create a bond with the first radical, CH3 plus H become CH4 lah. Itu lah contohnya tadi. So molecular ion or become radical cation and they produce fragment ion. Okay, senang cerita radical cation tu sendiri adalah you punya molecular ion lah. Senang cerita macam tu lah, sebab molecular ion ni dia melambangkan, it represent the whole molecule, and the number of electron again must be even, mesti genap the number of electron of the molecular ion. The number of ion for the radical cation mesti genap juga. But in the fragment ions, the number of electron should be ganjil lah. Should be ganjil. Sorry. Jangan confuse The number of molecular mass, the number of molecule, bukan, it's not the number of electron, the number of molecular mass of the radical cation, the number of MZ ratio of the radical cation and molecular ion should be the same, and the number of molecular mass or MZ ratio for radical cation and molecular ion should be even, sepatutnya genap, and the number of molecular ion or MZ ratio for your fragment ion should be even, right? Okay. Alright. Here's the basic principle of mass spectrometry. Here is the probe. After you have already passed through your column, then you go to the ionization process. We already learned in the GC part on the ionization process. Okay, then it hits by the electron beam, high number of electron beam, it becomes an molecular ions, or we call as the radical cation. The radical cation tends to somehow form into the fragmented ions. Okay, the fragmented ions, we go through this, and because of we have the magnet over here, we separate according to the mass to charge ratio lah. Okay, ions that are too heavy bends too little, ions that are too light bend too much lah. Okay, dan ions yang tak ada charge, dia tak akan bend, dia akan langgar je. Okay, macam tu. Only ions on the right mass can enter the detector. Macam tu lah lebih kurang. Okay, kalau kata kat situ, kalau kata dia kata, kalau lah if we only select, if let's say for the MS we select selected ion monitoring, if we select scene mode, then we can only select the ions with the right mass that can enter the detector. Actually, during the analysis of using mass spectrometry, we can set the mass we want to accept for analysis. For example, to 200 to 800, for example, you can set actually. Alright, but if you want to select the whole thing, then they will somehow take everything, set the detector. Okay, in the next slide we will learn about the components of the mass spectrometry. The first is sample introduction system, the inlet, where it will vaporize the sample into the system, and then the ion source, the function is to ionize our gas molecule into ions. Okay, and the mass analyzer, we want to spread ions according to MZ lah. Okay, remember during the column we already spread according to the compound. Okay, then the compound, when it reach to the ion source, it will ionize into the radical cation. Okay, the radical cation will somehow form form fragmented ions. Okay, the fragmented ions and the molecular ions will separate according to MZ ratio at the mass analyzer. And then of course the detector for detecting or to count the ions. Okay, then at the end the vacuum system to reduce collision between ions and gas molecule lah. It's the component. Alright, let's look at the components. Here is the diagram of the mass spectrometer. We have inlet for the sample introduction. We have the ion source for ionization to happen. We have the mass analyzer to separate our molecular ion and the fragments ions, and also to remove all the neutral compound. We want to remove all the radical, the not ionic charge ions. Alright, and we have the detector for detection and the data system for displaying. We also have the high vacuum system for our system to work properly. Without the high vacuum system, it's actually impossible for us to perform mass spectrometry analysis. Right, in the next slide, focus on the high vacuum system. Why we need high vacuum system? Okay, let me explain to you like this. Okay, alright. Okay, actually we should learn about the sample inlet first, but okay, it's okay, we just somehow learn a little bit earlier before we go. Okay, let's say we have the sample introduction. Okay, then the sample introduction will somehow go inside the ionization chamber, right? From the ionization chamber, we want to go into the mass analyzer, right? From the mass analyzer, we'll reach our detector lah. Alright. Okay. At for example, at high pressure, low vacuum, at low vacuum, at high pressure, our carrier gas in GC, for example, our carrier gas will collide with our analytes ion. Okay. At the low vacuum or at high pressure, carrier gas will collide with our analyte ions. Okay, so we have our we have our, for example, the green one is our analyte, right? But at the same time, we also have our carrier gas to bring our sample starting from the inlet to the our mass analyzer, right? Let's say we have our so in the vacuum condition without pressure or very low pressure, the function of the carrier gas is only to bring our analyte ions from the inlet to the ionization chamber to the mass analyzer until the detector. But at the low vacuum at high pressure conditions, what happen? They will collide with each other. So in the term of efficient, for example, we have 2, 4, 6 particle ions, 6 ions over here. For example, if the condition is optimum at high vacuum system at low pressure, okay, what happen is your 6 particle will somehow carry efficiently. Dia akan pass through lah, dia akan go without the collision, so just carry straight forward. The path length taken to bring into the next step is much more efficient. But let's say the example is the condition is at low vacuum and the pressure is high, so somehow your particle will undergo more path length. The pathway is much more bigger, so the efficiency of the analysis will be not so good, so we will not get a very good mass spectrum lah. Okay, you will not get a very good mass spectrum, or the abundance that you should get, high efficiency, high amount of abundance, you not get a very good abundance of your particular ions from your particular molecule. That is why we need the high vacuum system. I hope that explained it. Okay, so again, if the question asks you why we need the high vacuum system, you should explain that without the high vacuum system, the collision between the carrier gas and the analyte fragment ions or analyte molecular ions will be so greater, so the efficiency of the transfer between one component to another components will be much more less compared to the high vacuum system. Okay, that is how you can answer that. Alright, on to the next slide. We will learn about inlet. Okay, in the inlet is divided into 3: batch, direct, and continuous. Right, as we can observe in the inlet focus on the sample introduction from, actually, if your system require chromatography, requires separation, then is the introduction from the column into the ionization chamber. You can imagine like that. If you don't have the chromatography system, that is come from the batch inlet system or come from the direct inlet system, that is actually come from that particular inlet system to the an ion source, or we call it as the ionization chamber. Alright, the requirements for the sample introduction, that the sample must be in the vapor phase. The sample must be in vapor phase prior to ionization. Then the sample does not suffer thermal decomposition during the vaporization process. The pressure inside the mass spectrometer kept as low as possible. So the condition is vacuum. We already told about the why we require high vacuum, so I don't want to repeat on that. The sample must be in the vapor phase. Why must be in the vapor phase? In the vapor phase, the presence of the our sample will be in the very small particle. The surface area will be much more large, so the ionization will become more efficient. And the second condition, the sample does not suffer thermal decomposition. It means that if possible that we don't want our sample undergoes thermal decomposition. If we already discussed in this class, right? For example, we have the high explosive. The high explosive is really thermally lebay, so it can suffer thermal decomposition. So you can imagine that the compound that you want to analyze, suddenly you cannot analyze using the mass spectrometer. That is the problem with the vaporization process lah. Okay, that's the problem with that. Okay, but this is the thing, focus on the GC. So let's say for example we use actually batch system. We will go into that later on. Batch inlet system or direct inlet system, or we use the GC inlet system that require heating of your sample, that it will be a problem for a compound that suffer with thermal decomposition. It means that before it reach the ionization chamber, it's already decomposed. Your compound is already decomposed. So whatever it is detected at the detector will not represent your true compound. That's the problem for the thermally lebay compound. If the sample using the HPLC liquid chromatography, then there is no problem, because there is no heating involved. The sample will just somehow vaporize with a high pressure liquid and be ionized. That's it for the HPLC-MS lah, or we call as the liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. But of course, the liquid chromatography mass spectrometry is much more expensive. Right, on to the next slide. Okay, the types of sample introduction system, we can divide it into batch inlet, direct probe inlet, and continuous inlet. Batch inlet introduce all components of the sample at once. Same goes to direct probe inlet actually. Same goes to direct probe inlet. Sample probe, the difference between batch inlet and direct probe inlet is the batch inlet that you are really separating between the component of introduction to the ionization chamber. But in the direct probe inlet, the sample introduction is actually located in the ionization chamber. In the continuous inlet, is actually continuously that involve the flow of your analytes, that of course in the HPLC, in the GC, or in the electrophoresis eluents. Okay, involve that. We can also divide by that lah. Okay, it's very simple. Alright, but again, the weakness about batch inlet and direct probe inlet, the problem is because there is no chromatography involved, there is no separation involved. The analysis for the complex mixture is not very efficient. Okay, the batch inlet and the direct probe inlet is actually the conventional techniques. But still have been using, but not too much lah. Nowadays, a lot, the system already introduced the continuous inlet, even in the ICP-MS as well. Right. Okay. Okay, let's go for the first inlet system. We call as the sample introduction. Is the conventional. Okay, if you read some of the book in 2007, maybe they say the most common one, okay, but actually in 2020 it's actually was the was the most common one. But right now I think the continuous inlet is the most common one. Is the most common one. The continuous inlet. The batch inlet usually to be the most common one lah. Okay, but the simplest as well. Introduce all the component of the sample at once. Okay, gas and liquid sample the boiling point below than 500 degrees Celsius. If our sample is more than 500 degrees Celsius, it cannot be used lah, because we have some limited setup over here. Right, the sample heated in small external oven. Okay, the sample introduced from here set term into the heated reservoir. Okay, and then the temperature is actually elevated. The temperature is actually elevated. Alright. Okay, the sample pressure will increase to 10.5 torr. Vapor emitted to ionizers through valve. Okay. What happens is your sample will introduce over here. Okay, from the heating process at at the elevated temperature. Okay. Okay, let's say for example you have two compounds or three compounds over here, and but the important is your three compounds have a very different boiling points. For example, one boiling point is at 100, the second one the boiling point is 150, the third one the boiling point is at 300. Okay, what happen is for example you elevated at 150 degrees Celsius, so if your sample is a lot at 150 degrees Celsius, it will turn into vapor, then it will leak into the valve at the pinhole leak and go right to the ion source. But with the condition, your sample amount must be very high, because if your sample amount is not very high, you will not produce enough pressure for your sample to leak into the pinhole here to the ion source. That's the problem. That's why this advantage here, it requires large sample as to form high pressure and leak. Okay, let's say again, okay, you want to analyze three components. But for example, at the mixture of your compounds, the compound 1 and compound 3 is about 1/10 of your sample, so it will not create enough pressure to pass through the valve and the pinhole lead to the ion source. That's the problem. Okay, but if you have enough pressure, if you have enough sample, then yeah, it should be okay. Okay, that's the thing. Alright, the advantage, you will get the constant signal for a while. The disadvantage, again, require a large sample as to form high pressure and leak lah. Without that, it cannot reach the ion source efficiently. That's why I said that the batch inlet is not very efficient for mixture compounds unless the sample is huge and the compound at the particular analyte, the amount of for that particular analyte is also a lot lah. Okay, kena banyak jugalah. Kalau tak, it's not efficient. Alright. Alright, the next sample introduction or sample inlet is direct probe inlet. Alright, as we already discussed before this, as I already mentioned before this, that okay, the difference between direct probe inlet and the batch inlet, or we call as the continuous inlet. The direct probe inlet, that is the sample introduction is at the chamber of ionization, at the ionization chamber. Alright, as we can see the graph over here, we actually have the sample probe over here, we have the sample ampule over there, and then actually for the sample probe we move towards the chamber, and at the chamber during the heating process your sample will be vaporized. And what happened that at ionization chamber, the ionization process is happening, then your ion will be somehow attracted to your mass analyzer over here. Okay, here is one more of the clear picture. Alright, again, your sample at over here will go through, your sample is actually inside the sample cup. inside the sample cup. At the tip of the probe, you have the heating sample heater. As we can see here, we have the heater, we have the sample inside here, and then we go the probe will be inserted into the ionization chamber. From the ionization chamber, your ionized fragment ions will go through your mass analyzer after this, right? Sample probe located on the ionization chamber used for liquid, solids, and non-volatile samples with low vapor pressure. Okay, sample is heated directly. Alright, efficient. Less sample is required. Just very small amount of sample. If we compare to the patch inlet. Right, bad risk of contamination. Because we actually heating your sample inside the ionization chamber, right? So the potential will somehow contaminate our ionization chamber is very high. Okay, that's the problem lah about this. Alright, in the next inlet, is the continuous inlet. The samples is actually separated from the GC, LC or capillary electrophoresis column, which is connected to the MS. So actually we have the introduction injection over here. We have, for example, here is the GC. We have the sample injection, go through the separation at this at the column, at the GC column, and then it reach the detector. Okay, I think better we look into the this is what happened. Alright. Okay, then we see it again. Your sample is separated at the column, then the substance A, and then the substance B. Again, the substance A will produce its own spectrum, the substance B has its own spectrum. Alright, in the continuous inlet, again, it requires specialized in the system that require to atomize into droplet, especially for capillary electrophoresis and also HPLC. Alright, the liquid is atomized into droplets. The major interface problem is the carrier gas dilution. Remember, we have, for example, GC, we have already have the carrier gas. In the HPLCMS or the CEMS, we also introduce the argon gas for vaporize the liquid, to atomize the liquid into droplets. Okay, but the major interface problem is the carrier gas dilution. But again, we have the jet separator system to counter this problem by lighter carrier gas deflected by volume, heavier sample travels in a straight line. Okay, so if we can see over here, actually, by using the jet separator, okay, we have the very huge nozzle over here that suddenly become narrower. So what happened is, because of we know that argon gas is very, somehow the weight and volume of the argon gas is very small, so it will deflected very much. It will be deflected very much to the outside So the heavier sample will somehow just go within a straight line. Okay, but with the condition of this is where is the condition of high vacuum condition is needed. If the condition of vacuum is very low, the pressure is there, your sample will be deflected much as well. Okay, that's why we need it to be in the vacuum system. Right, so we already have done on the inlet. I hope there is no question. If you have any question, please write on inside the comment section in the YouTube channel. Alright, inside the YouTube link lah. Right, okay. So the next one, we will go into the ion source. We have actually a lot of ion source, but the common one we use is the chemical impact, electron impact, ESI, multi. Yang itu jarang dengar lah. Even dekat UTM pun we use electron impact, actually electron impact ionization system lah. Alright, at the ion source, it will somehow convert our molecule into the molecule already turned into gas, right, during the inlet system. at the inlet interaction system. But at the ion source, how we make our gaseous molecule into ions. Alright. Mass spectrometers are detected by ionization techniques. It's really related to ionization technique. Okay, appearance of spectrum highly dependent on ionization technique. Appearance of spectrum highly dependent on ionization technique. Okay, different ionization technique will somehow produce different spectrum. Again, I want to repeat this. Different ionization technique will somehow produce different spectrum. Okay. Alright. If we can see here, our ion source can divided into the gas phase ion source and also desorption ion source. Alright. In the gas phase, the sample first vaporized then ionized. Okay. But in the desorption solid or liquid directly converted to gaseous ion. Okay. This is where we use in HPLC and capillary electrophoresis. Alright, for the gas phase, of course, usually used in gas chromatography system. Alright, what made the difference? Okay, in the GC gas phase that the molecular weight of the spectrum produce just the spectrum, the largest one that we produce is about 100 AMU only. The MZ less than 100. But if you are using desorption, molecular weight can goes to 10 power of 5. 10 of power of 5. That's why especially if your compound is thermally lebay, better go for the LCMS. Okay, that go through desorption technique of the ionization. Right, in the ionization also we can somehow divide into soft impact and high impact. In the gas phase, electron impact is actually the high ionization technique, and the chemical ionization technique is actually soft ionization technique for the gas phase lah. Okay. If we can look over here that, for example, in the electron impact is exposure to electron stream. For the chemical ionization technique is actually related to its name by using reagent of gaseous ion. So we actually convert the gas ion to somehow react with our molecule to perform molecule ion. Alright, field ionization technique, we use high potential electrode to produce somehow ions. Right, you can see over here lah. Okay, for example, FD we use high potential electrode as well, and ESI we use high electric field and so on. We will look into few important ionization technique after this. Alright. Alright, as we have discussed before this, we can divide our ion source into gas phase source and the desorption source. The difference between the gas phase source and the desorption source is that in the gas phase source, the sample is first vaporized. So we need heating process first in the gas phase source. But in the desorption source, the sample just directly vaporized and convert into gaseous ions. Okay. The advantages of the desorption source, they are applicable to non-volatile compound as well as the thermally unstable sample such as explosive. Alright. And the gas phase source is generally restricted to ionization of the thermally stable compounds lah. Of course, it's just vice versa to the desorption source. Okay. So the question also can ask you, please describe the gas phase source and the desorption source, how to differentiate between the gas phase source and the desorption source. Or the question also can ask you which of between these two of the ion source is much more softer ionization technique. So you should be able to somehow differentiate them to select which kind of ion that you want really to use. Right. Okay. Alright. Uh,
Okay, other than we can differentiate between the gas phase source and the desorption source, we can also somehow classify our ion source into the hard sources and also soft sources. Of course, as uh, as the names we mentioned, the hard source will involve sufficient amount of energy so that the 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 compound will be excited to a higher energy state. All right, because we have also used at the high energy, the relaxation process will involve the rupture of bonds. So because somehow we use at high energy, the molecule go to the excited energy state, and then will undergo relaxation process that somehow involve rupture of bonds. So from the molecular, they will convert into few fragmented ions. Okay, in the ion source as well, you might get your molecular ion or may not. You might get your molecular ion or may not. Okay, because we use a very high energy, so the tendency of the molecular ion to be fragmented into fragment ions is more likely to happen, more likely to occur. Right, but the advantage of this that from the fragmented ions, we can somehow obtain the functional group information that can somehow uh, give the structural information for the whole compound. Okay, let's say for example we have this compound. Let's say we have the structure of this compound, right? Okay, maybe we get the fragment ions of this molecule, or maybe you can have this as your fragment ions. All of this, all of this can give you, for example, you get this, you get this, you get this as the fragment ions. From the library, they can combine all the information of the functional group to provide the structural information of our molecule. Okay, again, the hard source will somehow fragment your molecular into fragment ions, which is very small into a smaller fragment. Maybe you can get a structure like this, a half about this. You have the structure with NH only. You have the structure with CH, CH3, CH2, CH3 only. Or maybe you can get the structure with the CH3, OH only. Alright, but the best thing from the fragmented ions will show the information of the functional group that can somehow give a structural information of the whole molecular. Okay, that's the best thing about the hard source. But the weakness of the hard source, you may get your molecular ion or may not. You may get your molecular ion or may not. Okay, that's the problem with the hard source. Okay, and also the hard source is not the disadvantages is not mentioned here, but the disadvantage, one of the disadvantage of the hard sources is it's not really suitable for thermally labile compound. It's not really suitable for thermally labile compound. Okay. All right. In the next slide, is the soft sources. Soft sources can cause little fragmentation only. If we can differentiate between these things, we can see a lot of fragmentation over here. We can see a lot of fragment ions information that you can obtain over here compared to here lah. Right. And the best thing about the soft source, we can have the molecular ion. We can have the molecular ion. For example, 157, right? But actually 158 lah. Okay, 158. If we can see the smallest one over here is our molecular ion. That's the best thing about the soft sources. But the weakness of the soft sources, because of the little fragmentation, we can obtain a very, not very, maybe less amount of information regarding of our functional group. so we obtain less information regarding of information group. We need to agree that the number of molecular charge, for example 157, is not only belong to that particular compound. Maybe we have another compound that have the same amount of the MZ value. Or we can also say that another compound also have the same of molecular mass. Okay, we need to agree that maybe compound A also have the 158, compound B also have 158 molecular mass. What make them difference are their structure, their functional group. Okay, maybe here we have the OH for 158. Maybe we have more change. Maybe we have another of compound that have a more chain, yang maksudnya chain yang lagi panjang, yang they also have the same molecular mass with this compound. That's the problem with the soft sources lah, which is the information regarding of the functional group is much more less lah. Okay, so they are actually complementary with each other. Ion source can give a molecular ion and suitable for what we call as the thermally labile compound, but the problem is we have less information regarding of functional group. In the hard source, the weakness is it's not actually suitable for our thermally labile compound, but if the compound is not thermally labile, we can obtain a lot information regarding of the functional group. Then we can somehow the matching probability of our compound is much more greater lah compared to the soft source. They are actually complementary to each other. Okay. Alright, here how we can compare between the ion source of hard and soft. We can see over here at the hard we cannot read the molecular ion peak, but in the soft we have the molecular ion peak over here. Okay, that's a problem. The base peak between the hard and soft also will be different. Okay. Of course, in the soft source because the fragmentation is not that very harsh, so the fragment ions will have the base peak obtained from the soft source is at high molecular mass or MZ mass to charge ratio. But in the hard, because we apply hard sources, we apply high energy, so it tend to fragmented. The base peak usually at the very low mass to charge ratio. That is how we can differentiate between a hard and soft. So the question may somehow give you two different kind of spectrum. So they will ask you maybe, okay, please describe which one is hard and soft ionization technique. Okay, maybe somehow the question can ask you, okay, can you give your opinion regarding to this situation? Okay, kenapa you pilih this kind of method? Why you choose this kind of method? You need somehow to describe why you need that. Okay, for example, the question asks you, please come up with the situation that you really need the soft ionization technique. Okay, maybe that is the kind of the question that you need to answer. It's not only based on the test or examination, but somehow you need to answer during your work, during your employment in industry or in the services. That's you need somehow to apply the information, the knowledge that you have right now, maybe later on. Alright. Okay. Hard and ionization source both are useful for analysis. The many peaks in the hard source spectrum provide useful information about the kinds of functional group and the structural information about the analytes. Okay, that is the advantages. We already talked about this so many times. The soft source spectra are useful because they supply accurate information about the molecular mass of the analyte molecule or molecules. And the best thing about soft source spectra, of course, is it is much more suitable for thermally labile compound. Okay. In T05 and if I'm not mistaken in C19, all of the instrument GCMS over there, and also the GCMS using the hard source technique, electron ionization technique, electron impact ionization technique. Okay. Alright, here is the illustration. As we go up, here is some example of the ionization technique. We have electron impact, CIFAB, field ionization, and plasma desorption. Alright, as we go up, the energy used to fragmentize or ionize, not fragmentize, energy used for ionize is much more higher. And because of that, the fragmentation also high as well. As we go to the bottom, the technique is much more softer compared to the top technique over here. So the fragmentation to this technique over here is much more lesser lah. Okay. Okay, I don't think you guys need to remember everything. Just need to remember a few type of ionization technique. For example, from the gas technique, you need to remember one or two. From the desorption technique, you remember one or two. If you compare to hard and soft ionization technique, maybe from the hard one you just remember one or two, and for the soft one you just remember one or two techniques only, for the purpose for answering the question. Right. Alright, here we will learn about the sample introduction and ionization method into details. Okay, we will compare the ionization method to its typical analyte, sample introduction, the mass range that it can cover, and the method highlighted lah. Okay, as we can see here from the electron impact chemical ionization technique, chemical and electron spray ionization technique is somehow related or combined with the continuous sample introduction, which we already learned before this. Alright, for the fast bombardment FAB matric assisted laser desorption, uh, is suitable combination with the batch and direct sample introduction technique. Okay, if you can see the typical analyte over here for this particular technique, we can see that from the top one to the bottom, the electron impact is the hard ionization technique. It become more softer as we go to the bottom. So for the hard ionization technique, the typical analyte is relatively small. The size of the molecule is not that large, and the sample must be volatile. Okay, as we go down until the electro spray, as the technique become more softer, we can somehow determine or analyze much more bigger compound and also non-volatile compound. And of course, at the end, we can somehow analyze a lot of peptide, protein, and nucleotides, which is, of course, if we analyze all these things using the electron impact and the chemical ionization impact, our protein will broken into parts, which make us difficult to identify the parent compound. Okay, that's why if we want to analyze protein, we want to analyze carbohydrates, and for example, nucleotide as well, we need a more softer technique. For the sample introduction, as we know, those three here is the continuous. The first electron impact and the chemical ionization technique is suitable for GC or liquid. Alright, but for the electro spray, it's much more softer, so it's require liquid chromatography technique or change chromatography technique. The change chromatography technique is already outdated. It's a conventional method. You can search by yourself. It's not really stable nowadays. In the fast bombardment FAB and MALDI, the sample is made in viscous matrix. The sample is made in solid matrix for the MALDI. Okay, we already learned about the direct and batch technique and direct technique. Okay, so the problem is that your sample they are mixed, they are not somehow separate by chromatography. That's the problem with the softer technique. But again, the intention of the batch and direct FAB and multi is we want to analyze very big chunk of compound. For example, we have carbohydrate, we have protein, okay, that require a very much more softer ionization technique. Okay, the mass range, the electron impact cover 2000 atoms. Mostly can cover about 1000 lah, if we can draw For example, if we can draw, for example, we have the abundance over here. We have the abundance. Here is your MZ. So at the electron impact and the chemical ionization impact, we can cover until 1000 only. But as we go to the software technique, the MZ ratio, MZ to mass to charge ratio, or molecular mass, we can cover to 200,000, 6,000, 500,000. Okay, it depends on what kind of analyte you want to analyze. For example, if you want to analyze protein, we go for multi. If we want to analyze thermally lebay compound, you can suggest electrospray ionization technique. Okay, that is kind of question that somehow can ask you. For example, okay, you have explosive as your target compound. Which kind of ionization technique you can use? So you mentioned electrospray. So or you can also say that chemical ionization technique, for example. Because why? Because you can somehow why to answer why, then you mention uh, that technique, chemical ionization technique or electrospray ionization technique is sulfur ionization technique. Okay. Okay, I think that's it for this slide. Alright, for the electron impact source, please do remember the whole thing of here, because otherwise you guys to remember a lot of things. Okay, we just somehow need to understand the mechanism. Okay, the first thing that the sample is heated regarding what kind of the sample introduction technique. For example, maybe you use the column chromatography technique, so your sample is heated and go through to the repeller. Okay, from the repeller, okay, we have the ionization region over here after this slit. Okay, and between this we have the electron beam that will somehow hit your compound over here. Let's say you have your molecule over here. It's so small. You will have your molecule over here. We somehow go forward to here until here. At here, we have the electron beam that will ionize your molecule. So your molecule will have cationic charge, or will somehow convert into, around here also convert into fragment ions. And we have the slit, multiple slit over here as the ion accelerator region. We somehow attract your charge over here, your molecular charge ion, cationic charge ions here into the mass analyzer. Okay, as we the slit here has different different potential volt. Okay, for example, here maybe 10 power of 3 volt, here is 10 power of 4, maybe here is 10 power 4. So the potential applied at the slit, or we call as the accelerator plates of here, is also increasing to accelerate our molecule. Okay, again, you have the molecule over here is already heated, go through to the repellers. Repellers will somehow repels your compound into the ionization chamber over here. At the ionization chamber here, we apply the electron beam, so your compound will be ionized. Okay, after the ionization chamber over here, we have uh, multiple slit, or we can call as the multiple accelerator plates. At the multiple accelerator plates, the what we call as the high potential applied at the accelerator plates is increasing. For example, we have 10 power of 2, 3, and power of 5 to somehow accelerate our compound to the mass analyzer. Okay, if we not using if we are not using the increasing in the number of potential here, so your compound here will not accelerating to the mass analyzer. It will somehow go somewhere around here, so the background noise will be much more higher. The reading of your the reading spectrum will be uh, not better lah. It's not really efficient actually. dia tak akan jadi efficient lah. So that's why we need the accelerator plate over here. So for example here 10 power of 2, 10 power 3 and 10 power 5, maksudnya dia akan bertambah so that your compound can accelerate to the mass analyzer. Okay. What else the information we have? Okay, I don't think you guys need to remember this. Okay, from positive ion electron beams expel electron due to the electrostatic repulsion. Okay, and here after go through the molecular leak, we have the repeller over here will somehow repel through the ionization chamber. Why do we need the filament over here? Ionization region, we want to somehow repel the carrier gas. We want somehow repel. Okay, the function of this slit, we remember, right? We remember the concept of this. We want to accelerate only of our compound. We don't want for example, we have the carrier gas that somehow could carry your molecule. We don't want them to be existed in your mass analyzer as well. Okay, so your carrier gas will go outwards and only your molecular charge cation of a light of interest will somehow go to the mass analyzer. Okay, that is why we need this slit. Okay, this slit as the as what we call as the accelerator, but we also need slit as to somehow remove further our other kind of molecule that is not charged or neutral or radical or carry gas. We want to remove as much as possible before our ionic charge of molecule can somehow enter our mass analyzer. Alright, for the electron impact source, okay, here is the advantages and disadvantages. Electron impact source is a very good sensitivity. It can produce fragmentation, a lot of fragmentation. So the fragmentation can provide a good information of the functional group that can somehow provide accurate information of a lot of interest. Right, the disadvantages of electron impact source is the sample need to voltize. Kita kena voltizekan our punya sample. The problem is kalau kata kita punya sample is not thermally stable, is thermally lebay, it can undergo thermal decomposition before the ionization. That's the problem with the technique. Okay, and the fragmentation often can cause the disappearance of molecular ion peak. Okay, that is another problem. Molecular weight cannot be determined directly from the mass spectrum. Okay, ada situasi di mana kita tak boleh detect molecular ion peak. Okay, kalau kata kita tengok kat sini, okay, if we can observe here, okay, it's not possible for us to misunderstood this as the molecular ion peak. Okay, but kalau kata kita cari betul-betul, kita kira betul-betul where is the OH stand? There must be some OH over here. Alright, that can somehow lead to the molecular ion peak from the library lah. Okay, but I think the most disadvantage for electron impact source is not really suitable for large compound, big chunk compound that is not volatile, such as carbohydrate, protein, also thermally lebay compound such as explosive. Alright. Okay, electron impact source, why you can use? Kenapa you tak boleh guna EI for analyzing protein? Kenapa tak boleh guna EI untuk analyzing proteins? EI shatter chemical bonds. Okay, because we use high energy, we shatter chemical bonds. Okay, then the protein is the big chunk of polymer. Polymer is the combination of monomer, combination of molecule. So what happen is your protein can shatter into 20 different kind of amino acids if EI. So from a single compound of protein, because of the EI, dia boleh shatter, dia boleh pecahkan that protein into 20 different compound of amino acid. Okay, so we actually know the amino acid, but we don't know what kind of protein actually have during the analysis. AI would shatter the protein into not only into amino acid but also amino subfragment, even peptides. Okay, tak, the problem bertambah lagi. Maksudnya dia bukan sahaja shatter the protein, lepas dia shatter the protein into the amino acid, dia also boleh shatter the amino acid into the peptides. Okay, that's the problem. Alright, result from the single protein, you can have 10,000 of different signals from the single protein. So too complex to analyze, so it's not suitable if you want to analyze what kind of protein you have, but you are using AI. Then from that particular whatever compound you have 10,000 of different signals, you want to somehow conclude into a single protein. It's very, very difficult. It's very, very not practical. Okay, it's not really suitable, so you need to use more soft ionization technique, right? So the next one is the chemical ionization technique. It's soft ionization technique compared to the electron impact ionization technique. So the ionization technique is much more moderate and less fragmentation, high abundance of molecular ions. Kalau kata dalam electron impact ionization technique, you somehow can observe the molecular ion, but most probably you cannot observe the molecular ion. But in the chemical ionization technique, you can see a little bit of abundance. You can see more abundance of molecular ions compared to the electron impact. Same setup as EI, except the ionization chamber is pressurized with the reagent gas. Kalau kata dalam EI, we use the electron provided from the anode and cathode to as the electron beam to hit our molecule. But in the EI, we actually ionize the reagent gas. The reagent gas, the radical react with our molecular compound to form further radical cation. Okay. The reagent gas, usually methane, is superficially ionized. Collision between the reagent ions, okay. The reagent gas, dia akan ionize first, become the reagent ions. Then the reagent ions somehow will collide with our analyte, cause the proton transfer and hydride transfer to occur. Okay, this is what happen. Okay, so kalau kata beza directly, kalau kata in the EI, we already told you, the electron directly hit collide with our analyte of interest. But in the chemical ionization technique, we use the reagent gas, we ionize the reagent gas, and the reagent gas will collide with our molecule to and somehow will cause the proton transfer and hydride transfer to occur. Okay, in the chemical ionization source, we have the methane as the common reagent that will provide reagent ions. We also, for other example, we can also use propane, isobutane, ammonia, and some other metals such as potassium and sodium. Alright, so the methane reacts with a high energy electron to generate several ions such as CH4 plus and CH3 plus, as well as CH2 plus. The most common one is CH3 plus lah. The CH3 plus, CH4 plus, this ion will react with the methane molecule to perform these ions, H5 plus and C2H5 plus. Okay, let's say the question asks you, by providing the methane as the reagent, can you describe the formation of the reagent ions? So you can somehow need to describe this. The methane react the electron beam to generate several ions, including the CH4 plus, CH3 plus, and CH2 plus. Okay. Then the CH4 plus, these ions will react with other methane molecule to perform CH5 plus and C2H5 plus. Okay. These two things is very reactive that can react with our molecule. Okay. So they will collide with the molecule and performing two type of transfer, which is we can somehow describe as the proton transfer and the hydride transfer. If your reagent ion give a proton or a hydrogen to the molecule, then we call as the proton transfer. If your reagent ion substrate a hydrogen or substrate a proton from your molecule, then we call as the hydride transfer. So you need to somehow provide with the equation uh, if the in the exam is asked you about it. Then you need to please describe the proton transfer, please describe the hydrogen transfer. We already discussed about it. Hopefully you can answer that. And we also will have the C2H plus transfer M plus 29. This one is not inside here, but I need you guys to search by yourself about where is it? Adduct ion formation. Okay, let's say you have your mass spectrum over here. Let's say you have mass spectrum over here. You will obtain M plus 1 and you will obtain your M minus 1. Okay. You also will obtain your M plus 29 or adduct ion. Adduct ion is mean that your molecular ion plus the reagent ion. So you will have your plus 29 here over here. M plus 29. Okay, you will get this in your mass spectrum. Okay. Okay, let's say the question give your this spectrum and please describe about this one. The X, for example, the X over here, you need to be able to describe about the adduct ion formation. Okay, I think that's it for it. Let's go to the next slide. Alright, in the next, we will learn about spray ionization technique. It's one of the most important techniques for analyzing biomolecules. The ESI also can analyze the compound that is a little bit larger, such as polypeptides, peptides, protein, and oligonucleotides. Okay, and it can cover molecular weight more than 100,000. But the electrospray technique is the sample is actually pumped through a stainless steel capillary at the rate of few microliters per minute. Needle at several kilovolts potential. Dekat ujung ni dia akan apply several kilovolt potential, and dekat ujung ni juga kita akan ada heated nitrogen gas lah. At the stainless steel capillary ni kita akan also pump the argon gas to create very good pressure so that your sample actually in the liquid in the chromatography especially in the liquid chromatography and the capillary electrophoresis for let's say for example, it can form very fine droplets, and then at dekat hujung at the tips, we apply the several kilovolt potential to charge the molecule. Okay, so dekat ujung ni kita akan apply high voltage. Okay, high voltage to charge our droplets. Okay, dekat sini kita punya droplets dah become very very fine, but we need to dry the solvent. To dry the solvent, we somehow flow with the heated nitrogen gas to remove solvents. So our molecular charge over here, from the parent droplets, we have a few charge of ions over here. They can separate into very fine single small size charge droplet, or we can also say that as the naked charge droplet that can somehow enter the our mass analyzer later on. Okay, right. So the question again can ask you what is the mechanism of the electrospray ionization. You can somehow describe this. You can somehow describe about this, and then you need to be able to describe what is the importance of the ESI. Let's say for the example. Okay. Right. In the electrospray ionization, here the advantages and disadvantages. The ability is the ability to handle sample that have large masses, because it's a soft ionization technique. No heating is required prior to the ionization technique. One of the softest ionization method available, therefore it has the ability to analyze biological samples that are defined by non-covalent interaction. Kita boleh analyze biological sample yang bukan non-covalent interaction. Maksudnya bond dia lagi kuat lah. Kalau kata covalent bond, kita ada metallic bond whatsoever. It also have good sensitivity and therefore can be useful in accurate quantitative and qualitative measurement. Okay, have a very good sensitivity of the ESI, the error is much more less, so we can get a better accurate quantitative. So reproducibility, repeatability of the ESI is very good for this. Okay, but the tanning also has the disadvantages. The sample must totally dissolve in solvent. Kalau kata solid, kita tak boleh masuk ke electrospray ni. Sebab apa yang akan berlaku, dia akan sangkut lah dekat capillary. If it somehow, if not change into solvent, it will somehow stuck to the capillary. That's the problem. The apparatus is very difficult to clean and has tendency become overly contaminated with residues from previous experiment. That's one of the problem as well. Okay, because I have not, I don't have any experience of the ESI. I cannot tell you how to clean how to maintain the ESI properly. Maybe you guys can somehow search by yourself about that, and you can share and comment in the YouTube link that you see the video later on. Okay. Then a major disadvantage that this technique cannot analyze mixtures very well, and when forced to do so, the results are unreliable. Cannot analyze mixture very well. The multiple charge that are attached to molecular ion can make confusing spectral data. This confusion further fueled by use of mixed sample. Kalau kata kita punya sample tu ada multiple molecule, there are a lot of molecule, ada banyak sangat because chunk of molecule and molecule, tambah lagi dia adalah soft ionization technique. We have a lot of thing there. Dan kalau you analyze mixture, you have the multiple charge of molecule, dan dia akan bagi spectral yang pelbagai. So you akan get confused lah. So to overcome this problem, kita kena combine this technique sorry, with the chromatography. For example, the HPLC or capillary electrophoresis. Okay.
Alright, in the next one we have MALDI. MALDI stand for matrix assisted laser desorption ionization. It involves the laser process desorption from the plate as well as the ionization. Alright, how it happen? We can refer to this figure. What happen is actually your analyte of interest mixed with the special mix of UV absorber matrix mixed with the special UV absorber matrix. Okay, for example, for analysis of protein, we need the synapinic acid, and for example, for peptides, for peptides, we need 4-hydroxy cinnamonic acid. But you don't need to remember this name. You just need to remember with the UV absorber matrix is just enough. Alright. So the next step, you set the laser beam. You send a pulse from the laser beam to the surface of the matrix that have the UV at absorbent maximum of the matrix. So your matrix will absorb the energy efficiently. So what happen is, after you send energy at one spot, okay, there will somehow transferring energy to the other. So some of the matrix will try to send its energy to analyte. So dalam keadaan yang tak stabil, in the condition of transferring energy or process happen, it become a little bit unstable, so leads to ion spattering. Maksudnya dia akan berlakunya dejection, atau dia akan berlakunya desorption, desorption of analytes together with absorber of the matrix. And then during the process of desorption, the next process is dissolution and ionization. Dissolution is we want to remove the solvent by, of course, we have the nitrogen gas drying process over here as well in the process. But again, at the same time, from the matrix, from the UV absorber, from the UV absorber matrix, will somehow happen another process we call as the proton transfer. Okay, the proton transfer is the transfer of H plus from the matrix absorbent to UV to the UV, from the UV absorber matrix to the analyte of interest. So dia akan melakukan proton transfer to analyte, so analyte will have extra charge, so they will become the N cation, they will become a cation. So what happen is, bila dah ada charge nanti kat depan ni akan ada magnet. At the front here will be some magnetic field, will somehow attract attract all the cationic charge and bring your cationic charge to mass analyzer to the separator, of course. And then the separator usually used in the MALDI is TOF, time of flight. Okay, kita akan bincang a little bit of time of flight later on, but you don't need to worry. Okay, so dia akan bawa ke time of flight as the mass analyzer, then it will reach the detector. Okay, I want to repeat it again. Mungkin you boleh cepat-cepatkan je lah. Kalau kata you want to go to the next slide again, you punya analyte campur dengan you punya UV absorber matric. Laser beam ni dia akan pancarkan laser ke arah UV absorber matric ni dengan kadar absorber maksimum of the matric. So you punya UV absorber matric ni akan absorb the energy efficiently. Apa yang berlaku kat sini, bila dia terima energy, dia akan excited. They will excited. Bila they will excited, diorang akan try to transfer energy to each other. Okay, bila they want to transfer the energy to each other, involving the transfer energy to the analyte, akan berlakunya desorption, ataupun we can also call as ion sputtering. Bila dia dah berlakunya desorption, that's why we have the term desorption. Bila berlakunya desorption here, in that condition as well, akan berlaku dua benda yang berlaku. Pertama, dia akan berlaku desolvation and ionization. Okay, in the desolvation, kita remove all the solvent using the heated nitrogen gas to remove all the solvent. And ionization process occurring by transferring the proton from UV absorber matrix to the analyte of interest. So dia akan transfer you punya proton transfer kat here. Okay, macam mana dia nak gerakkan our ion charge kepada kita punya mass analyzer and also our detector, kita akan guna magnetic field over here. We can observe in the next slide lah. Okay, here is another figure of the MALDI, right? But the MALDI with the mass analyzer of TOF, time of flight. Kat sini kita dah bincang tadi, laser dia akan target the plate. Okay, so ia akan ada berlakunya desorption. At desorption, kita akan berlakunya ionization. And ionization, kita apply electric field generator, dia akan pergi, dia akan bergerak. So dia akan sini, electric field generator ni dia maksudnya dalam elevated. Contohnya kita apply sini 10 power of 1, 10 power of 2, 10 of power of 3 voltan of power. So dia akan accelerated towards the detector. Right after electric field, we have the mass of analyzer. Mass analyzer we call as the time of flight. Time of flight ni sebenarnya adalah satu hollow tube. Maksudnya just pendek je, kita tak mungkin just few millimeter, we don't really know about that. But because as we apply we give the same energy here. Okay, analyte that somehow dia lagi halus, maksudnya lagi senang to accelerate, dia akan sampai dulu to the detector. Yang lagi berat dia akan sampai kemudian lah. Okay, that is what happen. So when the analyte we have that has positive charge, cationic charge, dia akan create potential energy that can give the signal. The analyte which is negative or post neutral, or also just solvent that, we will not somehow create potential energy at detector, so it will not react. Okay, that's the thing how it's happen actually. But actually we already discussed about mass analyzer of time of flight detector, time of flight mass analyzer. Alright, I hope that is explained about the principle of multi-matrix assisted laser desorption ionization technique of ionization. Alright, in the next slide, okay, discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of MALDI. Advantages is very gentle ionization technique. So because it's very gentle, the molecule no need to be volatile. So thermally unstable compound also can be analyzed. High molecular weight analyte can be ionized. So high molecular weight compound dia tak akan pecah lah. Contohnya if we have protein, dia tak akan pecah kepada peptide, dia tak akan pecah kepada polypeptide. So it make your life easier to determine which kind of protein actually we want to analyze. Daripada kita nampak pecah-pecah-pecah, kita akan pening lah. So if we can detect as the whole compound, yes, we can somehow lead to the determination of single protein. Alright, then the molecule need not to be volatile. Okay, produce singly charged ion, thus interpretation become easy. okay, dia tak akan produce fragmentation. We only produce singly charged ions, so this interpretation become easy. Dia akan bagi tahu satu sahaja charged ion. So dalam you punya mass spectrum nanti, dalam mass spectrum you nanti, you will have only one ion charge sahaja kat sini. It depends on the protein. I'm really sure because I have not operate multi. Maybe I will read a little bit later on to assist you guys. Okay, wait. Alright. Prior separation by chromatography is not required, but you can always somehow try hyphenated the things. Okay, you can try to hyphenated things. It means that you combine between chromatography and also the multi, but I'm not really sure how the mechanism could be. I'm not really sure. Alright. Okay. Disadvantage, low sensitivity, because the laser only somehow pulse into a little spot only, so just a small amount of analyte could be dissolved and detected by the ions. Okay, and lack reproducibility. Okay, we are not really sure either at the same spot, either our analyte is totally homogeneous or not. We are not really sure, and we are not really sure the condition should be the same, but the reproducibility of the multi is not that great because we cannot obtain the same spot, we cannot obtain the same either your laser somehow hit at the same because we just put our sample on the plate, right? Okay, we are not really sure if the thickness of our plate should be the same or not, or that some certain thing can involve can affect the mechanism. Alright, next, the wide array of matrics. We need to somehow obtain a very good matrix that can compatible to our analyte of interest. That's the thing. Okay, wide array of matrix, different kind of matrix will produce different kind of desorption techniques. They will produce different kind of efficiency of the desorption. Okay, so it will lead to different efficiency of the detection. Okay, that's why with this happen, low sensitivity, lack of reproducibility, we actually cannot obtain a very good library because we don't have the fragment library, because we know that the same charge, the same molecular mass, or the same mass to charge ratio can represent and multiple kind of compound. Tak semestinya that one particular compound dia ada satu je molecular mass. Compound B pun boleh ada same molecular mass, compound X pun boleh ada same molecular mass, because we don't have the fragment is not that great, so we cannot obtain a very good library, we cannot produce a good library for the multi MS. Okay, but from the multi we can determine, for example, we want to analyze this protein, we believe that our sample have that kind of protein, we send to the multi. From the calculation of the molecular mass of our protein, we see that particular number and that particular number, then we confirm with the multi techniques. Okay, that's what we can do actually. But if you want to analyze, for example, if you want to analyze for example explosive, you want to analyze pesticide using multi, it's not really great. It's not really great for that, because we don't have the fragmentation, we don't have a very good information of the functional group, so you cannot compare. Actually, you cannot totally confirm is your my spectrum refer to that particular compound or not. Cannot confirm about that. Okay. Alright, in the next component we will look into the mass analyzer. We have multiple kind of mass analyzer, but we won't go into every mass analyzer, because if we go into mass analyzer we have a lot of things to learn. So maybe we learn 2 or 3 important mass analyzer, or the most common one. Alright, in the mass analyzer, what happened? Okay, let's forget about that. Okay, In the mass analyzer, okay, for example, here we have magnetic sector analyzer, MSA, very high resolution, so it have high resolution powers, so great, can somehow give the exact mass, and the original mass analyzer, the first one initiated as the mass analyzer. The mass analyzer, what is the function of mass analyzer? Okay, the first thing first, what is the function of mass analyzer? Mass analyzer, we want, because one molecule will somehow create two molecular ion and it fragments ions. Okay, so from that thing, we want to separate the ions. We want to separate our ions. We want to separate between molecular ion and fragments ions, so that we can somehow obtain information regarding of the functional group, and we can obtain the structural information of our molecule. That is the importance of mass analyzer. Without the mass analyzer, we cannot separate the fragment ions. We cannot separate the ions, so we can obtain the information regarding of the functional group as well as the molecular structure. Alright. Okay, again, the next one is the quadruple analyzer, the most common one, and have been used in our faculty as well. But the resolution is not that great, but fast and also cheap. But it's not really cheap lah. Nowadays, already the efficiency is better, but the price is so expensive actually for me, for us as well. It's about, even though I think the average price of the GCMS can reach from 500,000 to 1 million. Depends on the efficiency. For example, we go for the GCMMS, the double quadruple system. So it can reach up to 1 million ringgit. Alright. The next one is the time of flight. No upper mass to charge ratio limit. High throughput. The next one is the ion trap mass analyzer. Good resolution. All-in-one mass analyzer. Very versatile. Very versatile. I'm not sure if we learn about this in our class. And the last one is the ion cyclotron resonance, FTICR. Highest resolution exact mass, but unfortunately it's very expensive. Okay, the thing that the only analyzer that I have encountered is the quadruple. I'm not sure about the others. I need to confirm maybe with the GI role if we have the MSA or TOF in our faculty. We need to confirm that. Alright, the first one is the magnetic sector analyzer. The figure might be different compared to the your notes given to you, but I do think it's a very good practice for you to have some new sketch inside your notes instead of relying to the old notes. Alright. Magnetic sector analyzer, that after the ionization process, our ions will leaving the ion source by accelerated at high velocity. Okay, kat sini kita akan ada magnetic field lah. Dekat ion source ni dia akan, lepas daripada ion source ni dia akan accelerate at high velocity. Then at high velocity dia will be somehow pass through the magnetic sector over there. Dia akan pass through the magnetic sector over here. Okay, dekat sini kita akan ada magnetic pole pieces that the field is perpendicular to the direction of ion motion. For example, kita bergerak macam ni kan, kita akan bergerak macam ni. So the magnetic force dia datang daripada tepi you lah, dia akan ganggu you. So what happen is the lighter ions will deflected much more than heavier ions. Apa yang berlaku kat sini, all ions will be deflected. Kalau kata ions kita tak maksudnya ions kita tak ada charge, dia tak akan deflected lah. Okay, but usually it's already possible because at the ion source we already filter out the things that is not ionic, is not charged with the cationic. So what happen at the magnetic pole pieces at high velocity, they will pass through the magnetic pole piece over here, then dia akan get deflected. Okay, the lighter ions dia akan lagi deflected banyak lah. Macam ni dia akan deflected kan. Okay, so lighter ions dia akan deflected lagi banyak. So you punya lighter ions dia akan pergi tempat lain lah. So kat sini dia ada detector. Okay, let's say we use we use total ion chromatography. Okay, so we want to observe all the ions. So the slit, kita akan open slit lah, kita tak akan pasang slit ni lah, maksudnya semua all ions boleh pass through. Okay, if you want to choose the selected ion monitoring, then at the resolving slit ni kita akan somehow allow some of the particular mass to charge ratio only to pass through the resolving slit and reach the detector. So yang lain dia tak akan datang. So that's kalau kata okay, let's say we have the sim mode, right? Let's say we compare between TIC, we compare the TIC, total ion chromatography, and selected ion monitoring. In the total ion chromatography, we can have a lot of compound, for example. Okay, and the compound, for example, maybe this compound dia akan ada molecular mass about 300, maybe here is 500, here is 1000, here is 1500, we don't know about that. But for example, in the sim mode, you want to analyze it, for example, here is 100, here is 200, here is the MZ is 300, here is 400, and here is 500. So what happen is, during the sim mode that we apply at the resolving slit here, only to allow selected ions, what happen is only the chosen mass to charge ratio of analyte to pass through the slit. So you punya sim, you akan dapat very clear ni lah, clear chromatogram. Kalau kata you guna based on the chromatogram, you akan contoh you akan dapat very clear lah compared to the others. Only the compound with that particular mass to charge ratio sahaja yang akan tunjuk dia punya peak. Other than that, you will not get any peak. So you can reduce the background noise. Okay, to achieve better resolution, it is necessary to add electric sector that focuses on the ions according to their kinetic energy. It means that dekat sini kita akan ada electric sector yang akan focus on that particular ion monitoring. So kalau kata different charge ratio, dia akan ada their own electric sector that can provide a better resolution. Okay, alright. Okay, the next one we will look into the benefit, limitation, and application of mass sector analyzer. Okay, in the mass sector analyzer, the benefit is very high reproducibility. Please delete the classical mass spectra. I'm not really sure how classical mass spectra is benefit to you guys, but it's very high reproducibility. The error or the thing can be reproducible very efficiently lah. Best quantitative performance of all mass spectrometer analyzer, high resolution and sensitivity. I'm not really sure how it can provide high resolution and sensitivity. I'm not really sure about that, but from the benefit, from the advantage, this is the advantage: very high reproducibility, good sensitivity, and good resolution, and also best quantitative performance, okay, of all mass analyzer we have. The limitation is that not well suited for pulse ionization method, MALDI. Okay, because why? In the mass magnetic sector analyzer, we use the magnetic sector, right? We use the magnet, right? Okay, in the MALDI, we only somehow perform the laser desorption technique. The acceleration of the ion is not that great. Okay, and in the MALDI as well, the molecular ion is very big, right? Okay, the molecular ion is very big, so the acceleration is not that great. But if our acceleration is not that great, it cannot be deflected, so dia akan berlanggar dengan kita punya pole piece saja. Dia tak akan sampai pun to our detector. That's the problem. Okay, the limitation. Okay, usually larger and higher cost than other mass analyzer. Maybe I'm not really sure because I have not seen the mass analyzer. Maybe you can try to Google it how big it is. But from here, usually it's larger and higher cost than other mass analyzer. But we are not really sure because nowadays it's very modern. So maybe they can improve the mass analyzer. I'm not really sure. But for the time being, it's usually larger and higher cost than other analyzer lah. Okay. Linked scan MMMS give either limited precursor selectivity with unique product ion resolution or unique precursor selection with product ion resolution. Alright. Okay. Kat sini, okay, kita kena tahu pernah dengar tak double quadruple system, or we call as the GCMMS? Okay, right. I need somehow to brief you guys into that later on before I can go to this. Okay, I will go to the other slide, but let me end first about the application, and then we can go back to the basic. Why the MSA is not suitable for MMS or double mass spectrometry. Okay, application can analyze all organic analysis method, accurate mass measurement, quantitation, isotope ratio measurement. Okay, isotope ratio measurement we can look into detail later on. Okay, let's look again, because later on we will somehow look into the MMS, triple quadruple or double quadruple. We can look into that later on. Okay. Okay, in the normal situation, okay, you have your ion over here, you somehow hit with the electron, and then you produce charge, M plus and cationic charge. Here we will have the molecular ion, you will have the fragment ion, for example +1 M2 +2. Okay, this is the first part. This is the first part of MS. Okay, here is the first part of MS. Okay, then the MS, for example, the here only consists is the normal process in the GCMS or HPLC-MS. What happen if we have the GCMMS? What happen if we have the GCMMS? It means that we have double mass analyzer. What happen is we have also somehow the process is we submit our fragment ions and molecular ions here for further ionization. So kat sini kita akan langgar lagi dengan we somehow send for the ionization process again. So we call this as the parent ion or the precursor ion, dan kita akan dapat pecahan ni lah. So ini akan dapat M plus, mungkin MX1 ke MX2 ke, we're not sure. From here maybe we can get M11 ke, yang ni dapat M22 ke, M21 ke, M22 ke. So we selected the precursor ion from over here, from the precursor ion over here we select the fragment ion. Okay, again saya akan explain again, takut saya sendiri confused. Okay, in the normal MS system, the single MS system, that usually we ionize our molecule, then we will get the molecular cationic radical or radical cation. From the cationic radical ion, we have the molecular ion, we have the fragment ion. Okay, kalau kata in the first MS, we end to this only, kita akan sampai kat sini sahaja. But if we have the MS system, right, what happen is the last fragment ion and the molecular ion is the precursor ion. Contohnya you kata you pilih satu yang paling unik from your fragment ions or molecular ion. For example, you said that you usually kita akan run mass spectrum untuk the first one, for the first MS. From the first MS kita akan tengok kepada base peak. Okay, kita akan select base peak. That base peak kita akan jadikan dia precursor ion. Okay, sebab contoh kita ada kita have ethanol. We have ethanol, we have CH3 and CH2OH, right? We have CH2OH. For example, we have CH2OH as our base peak. It means that CH2OH is very unique ion for our analysis. Okay, that unique ions of the analysis, then we can further fragmentize. Into its daughter ions. Okay, so kita akan dapat parent ions over here, dan kat bawah ni kita akan dapat daughter ions. Okay, so far I have not heard the GCMS, MS and MS. Saya cuma dengar yang sampai 2 kali sahajalah. Maksudnya you dah bombard sekali, and then you bombard for another second time, okay, to get the daughter ions. Okay, berbalik kepada this berbalik kepada, let's back to the matric sector analyzer, why the MMMS cannot be done atau is not really suitable using the matric sector. Because why? Because let's say for example, your analyzer already become the molecular ion or become the fragment ion. Okay, the fragment ion is okay. On the first analyzer, it can somehow can deflect very good. Dia akan boleh, where is the, okay, dia boleh akan sampai sini. Tapi you bayangkan, cuba kalau kata you try pecahkan dia akan jadi sangat halus. Bila you punya ions become a very fragmented ions, the problem is you punya ni dia akan sangat ringan. Dia akan deflected too much, dia tak akan reach the detector. That is what the problem with the magnetic sector analyzer. Maksudnya you dah ada yang besar ni, very stable reach detector, bila you pecahkan lagi dia jadi sangat ringan, dia akan deflected too much, so dia akan tak dapat reach detector. So this what is mean with the second term. You boleh dapat, you need precursor selection ion, bagus, tapi you tak dapat per product ion resolution. Maksudnya you boleh dapat any, okay, no problem, have the precursor ion, but when you further fragmentize your ions, dia jadi sangat kecil, dia sangat ringan, so dia akan deflected too much, it cannot reach the detector. Okay, on the first one, you can also obtain the limited precursor selectivity. Contohnya sebab you punya compound terlalu besar, dia tak deflected, so dia akan just hit terus je. Contohnya kalau kata compound you besar, dia tak deflected pun, dia akan terkeluar. So you akan dapat sikit je. Contohnya dapat 3 ni, yang molecular ion ni terlalu berat, dia tak dapat deflect, so dia tertendang keluar, so dia tak masuk pun sampai detector. So you just dapat mungkin M1 atau M2 sahaja. But the best thing, yang ni sebab dia masih lagi berat, so you can fragmentize the molecular mass of that particular molecule, still suitable for the next fragmentize and can reach the detector, so then it's okay. So that is how the last statement explained. So maybe the question can ask you why. Let's say lah, the question can also ask you in the test or in your examination, can also ask you why the MMS is not suitable for the magnetic sector analyzer. Okay, I hope we can try to explain that lah. Okay, because I already explained here, so just make sure you understand why. Okay, in the next slide we have quadruple analyzer. Quadruple analyzer is the most common one nowadays. Okay, it's more compact, less expensive and rugged. Okay, dia kecil je, maksudnya you, kalau kata I like you mass analyzer, you tak perlu a big chunk of another part of the instrument for the GCMS. Dia kecil sahaja. It's less expensive and rugged. Okay, murah dan orang kata tahan lah. Okay, high scan rate, spectrum in less than 100 millisecond. Maksudnya dia punya scan ni pantas, tak ambil masa yang lama. Alright, so quadruple, quadra is mean 4. Pole, of course lah, batang, 4 batang. So you have 4 pole. Quadruple mean you have 4 pole that you apply the magnetic field over here. Okay. Right, one pair attached to positive side of variable DC source, one pair attached to negative side of variable source. So dia akan ada dekat sini, contohnya yang ni adalah positif, yang ni positif, yang ni negatif. So you punya ions dia akan resonate inside je lah. Okay, because of the resonance, dia akan create a path length kepada you punya ions. Dia akan create satu path length kepada ions. So kalau kata instead dia jalan just direct to the mass analyzer, you cannot well separated. Because of the quadruple, dia akan resonance. So bila dia resonance, yang lagi berat dia akan ambil masa yang lagi panjang, yang ringan dia akan resonance lagi cepat lah. Maksudnya dia akan lagi cepat sampai, so dia akan lagi cepat sampai lah. Alright. Variable radio frequency potential apply to each pair of rods. Yang ni you tak payah faham lah, cuma kita apply variable frequency potential lah dekat sini, rod ni lah. Sebab kita nak we want our ions to be resonant. We want to make the ions resonance. Ion accelerated through space between rods, potential 5 volt to 10 volt. Okay, kita akan apply different kind of volt at di ni lah, dia akan ni. Okay, daripada sini mungkin kita apply berapa 5 volt je sampai ke sini 10 volt, so kita punya ions dia akan accelerated. Okay, AC DC voltage increase simultaneously with ratio being constant. All ions without specific mass to charge ratio will strike roots and become neutral. Okay, kalau kata ions tu dia punya mass to charge ratio is not within our range, dia maksudnya dia tak resonance efficiently, dan dia just akan hit the electrode dan dia akan become neutral ion. Only ions have a limited range of mass to charge ratio will reach the detector. Okay, macam saya kata tadi lah, okay, just the right resonance yang akan stay resonance within the space of the electrode. Kalau you punya tu resonance terlalu kuat, dia akan hit the electrode. Kalau dia terlalu ringan, dia tak akan sampai pun to the detector. It will not reach the detector. Alright. Okay, quadruple analyzer. Here is the benefit, limitation and application of quadruple. Classical mass spectra, please gain. Please delete. Good reproducibility. Relatively small and low cost system compared to the MSA. Have efficient conversion of precursor to product. Okay. Okay, yeah, the best thing, you have efficient conversion of precursor to product. Actually kalau kata you nak buat MMS je okay, tak ada masalah. Okay, because for example, you have the first part over here of your, better I choose the grey color. Let's say you have your first MS. Okay, here is the ionization chamber. You hit the MS, your ion will be separate. Okay, then you select your parent compound, or you select your precursor ion. Precursor ion and the parent compound is the same thing. Okay, or we call as the parent ion. It's not the parent compound, it's the parent ion. Parent ion or precursor ion is the same thing. Okay, let's say you have the precursor ion reach the second ionization chamber, then kat sini dia akan further ionize. Lepas tu dia akan pass through the mass analyzer for further separation. Okay, again, in the MS, because of the quadruple, we can adjust the magnetic field, dan dia akan boleh pass through the detector easily. So what happen is, during the first MS step, dia akan spread. Kat sini kita boleh select kita punya precursor ion based on the abundance. We choose the precursor ion based on the highest abundance. Kita jarang guna yang kecil lah, sebab yang kecil, bila yang kecil you try to fragmentize, you only get a very small amount. That's why we need the highest abundance, or we call as the base peak, for further fragmentize. So dia akan fragmentize at new ionization chamber, dan dia akan reach the next mass analyzer. Okay, the limitation is the limited resolution. Okay, peak height is variable as function of mass. Peak height versus mass response must be tuned, not well suited for pulse ionization method. Okay, it's not pulse ionization method, MALDI lah. Okay, MALDI magnetic assisted laser, right? Laser, which is we use laser, right? It's not also suited for this one. Okay. Okay, what else? The application, majority of benchtop GCMS and LCMS system, triple quadruple MMS system, sector quadruple hybrid MMS system. Okay. Okay, triple quadruple is not mean that you have triple mass analyzer. It's not mean like that. Okay, actually you have, if we refer to the draw before this, we have the ionization chamber, and then we have your mass analyzer. You have the ionization chamber, and then you have your second mass analyzer. Dekat in the middle here, and at the ionization chamber, actually in the form of quadruple as well. Okay, nanti kita boleh try tengok kot, hopefully ada lah. Okay, that's why it's named as the triple quadruple. But the mass analyzer, we have only two here. We have only two. Alright. Okay, that's it. Okay, the last mass analyzer we will learn today is the time of flight analyzer. Benefit is the fastest MS analyzer, because the length of the TOF is not that huge, but again the time difference is not that great, just about couple of seconds only or couple of minutes only. It's not that TOF you buat dalam masa 5 minit, the GCMS, the MS part of the GC will take about 1 hour. Tak, dia akan beza minit only atau second. Okay, well suited for pulse ionization method, MALDI lah, especially high ion transmission, high practical mass range of all MS analyzer. Okay, but the problem is poor resolution, require pulse ionization method or ion beam switching method. Forget about the ion beam switching method because we not learn about this. Low resolution power, limited precursor ion selectivity for most MMS experiment. Again, we can have the precursor ion, only have one precursor ion, for example, come from the MALDI, but how the daughter ions? Okay, how about the daughter ions? Kalau we still use the MALDI, then we proceed to the next MALDI, the fragmentation is still not that great, so we cannot proceed to the MMS experiment. Okay, application, almost all MALDI system. Okay, MALDI usually combined with DTOF. Very fast GCMS system. Very fast GCMS system. Alright. Alright. We go into the next components of the mass spectrometer, the detector, of course. Alright. Actually, there are plenty of detectors, but we will only go into few selected one, which is the common one or the simplest one for you guys. Alright. Okay. Right. The function of detector is to monitor ions currents, amplifies it, and then transmit the signal to data system. Okay. Among the common detectors is the Faraday cup, channel Tron, photomultiplier tube, electron multiplier tube, micro channel plate. I'm not really sure about the others two, but for the other three here, we will look into that. Okay. Alright. So actually what happened at detector? So you have your charged cations over here. You have your charged cations over here. They will somehow move to the detector, right? Attracted to the detector. At the detector, we have some anode or cathode over here. We have the electrode over here. We'll calculate the electron potential. Okay. As the number of that particular charge of ions is increasing, as well as the signal is also increasing. Alright. So let's say you have one of the molecular ion over here. You have molecular ion over here. You will go to the detector, and when it reach to the detector, alright, depends on the amount of the charged ions for that particular molecular ion or that particular fragment ions. Okay, dia akan bagi signal lah. Okay, dia akan create the orang kata electron potential over here. Okay, kat sini. Dan kat sini dia akan amplify whatever data you have and transmit your data into the data system. The data system, the function only to store the data and displaying the data. Alright. Okay. Alright. The first detector is the Faraday cup. Okay. If we can look into the figure over here, if you can look on the figure over here, here is the basic illustration for the Faraday cup. Okay. What happen is, if we look over here, we have the ion beam. It means that it's not really the ion beam from the electron beam that we ionize our sample. It's the ion beam here is mean that the ions produced by the ionization. It means that your molecule that have turned into molecular ion and also have turned into fragment ions. What happen is, the ion beam will go through the ion suppressor and go to the collector electrode. Okay, kat sini yang kita panggil sebagai Faraday cage, ataupun also we call as the Faraday cup. Maksudnya dalam bentuk cup atau cage sajalah. Okay, Okay, dia kalau you boleh search sendiri dekat Google, dia dalam bentuk yang bulat lah. So it's little bit hollow structure of the Faraday cup. Okay, apa yang berlaku kat sini, kita ada kat sini kita panggil sebagai collector of the electrode, or we call as the grounded metal plate. You punya ion beam, dia akan, you punya ion or you punya molecular charge, dia akan hit the electrode. Okay, bila dia hit the electrode, dia akan draw the electron from the metal plate over here, or the collector electrode. Again, repeating again, bila you punya N light that have turned into cation, okay, dia akan reach to the detector. Okay, dia akan tarik, dia akan draw the electron from the plate over here, or the collector electrode. Bila kat sini you punya ion become neutral lah. Okay, you bayangkan kat sini ada elektron tu disedut, elektron was draw into your molecular ion or fragment ions, then you punya tu dia akan jadi, orang kata dia akan jadi ni lah, dia akan jadi neutral. What happen is, dekat collector electrode ni, number of electron dia akan berkurangan. Bila the number of electron dia akan berkurangan, daripada ground ni dia akan try to supply the electron to somehow menjadikan semula dekat plate ni dia akan full balik dia punya elektron. Okay. So bila yang itu berlaku, akan berlakunya pengaliran current, akan berlakunya the current formation. Okay. Kat situ yang kita akan measure the current, dan kita akan hantar kepada amplifier as our orang kata signal display system lah, to our data system. Okay. Alright. The effective, okay, ini sebenarnya adalah benda apa yang saya explain kat bawah ni lah, benda yang senang. So ions from our molecule akan strike the grounded metal plate, dia akan neutralize kat sini. So again, what happen is, elektron daripada sini dia akan berkurangan lah, sebab kita dah gunakan the elektron dekat plate ni untuk neutralize our molecule. Okay, so bila berkurangan, kita try to supply balik the elektron, dan akan berlakunya pengaliran current. The ion current over here that we calculate, okay, the amount of current produced is what that we calculate. Then that is what we send to the amplifier and also into our data system and also our displayer. Alright, effective if ion current is comparatively large. Okay, advantages, very rugged and expensive, maksudnya sangat tahan dan murah, maksudnya tahan dan juga murah. Okay, I'm not really sure tahan tu macam mana, ataupun murah dia tu berapa ringgit. I'm not really sure. I cannot answer you that. But very rugged and inexpensive. But disadvantage, need for a high impedance amplifier. Okay, I have made some reading on high impedance amplifier. Maksudnya dekat sini dia only allow a small amount of current yang merentasi dalam satu masa yang sama, dalam satu masa yang sekejap lah, maksudnya. Okay, tapi okay, limit speed at which spectrum can be scanned, maksudnya dalam satu masa tu only small of current can be allowed to pass through. I'm not really sure macam mana, tapi macam mana dia kata only a limited amount of current, okay, could go through lah. Okay, so apabila berlaku kat situ, sebab dibenarkan sedikit saja current pada satu masa, so because of the system only limit of the limited amount of current can be passed through, that is why the speed is limited for which spectrum can be scanned. Okay, compared to the electron multipliers, the Faraday cup is much more less sensitive, because we are not really multiply the amount of number of electron given off. We are not really calculate or really somehow produce multiplying the number of electron extracted or not. Alright. Okay, that's all about the Faraday cup. Okay, the second one is the channel Tron. Alright, channel Tron is similar to photo multiplier. Okay, photo multiplier is what we already learned in the UVVs, so I don't want to discuss into detail about that. Okay, so what happened in the multiplier channel Tron here, the incident ion beam ejects, dia akan langgar kat sini, cause secondary emission of the electron. Okay, by a change of voltage of series diodes, the electron bonds toward the ground, ejecting additional electron at each stage. gains from 10 to 10 to 8 can be realized. A trumpet shape continuous diagonal often called a channeltron is common implementation of these ideas. Okay, so apa yang berlaku kalau kata in the Faraday cup over here, we actually draw the electron over here, right? So dia akan neutralize you punya molecule over here, dan dekat sini kita akan ada pengaliran arus yang baru. But what happen in the channeltron, okay, kita akan langgar our charge over here, dan kat sini dia akan produce electron. Okay, the electron dia akan hit this continuously until it reach to the ground. Okay, bila dia sampai to the ground, kita akan ada multiplying of the electron. We will have the multiplying number of electron. So the signal, the sensitivity will be increased much more significant compared to the Faraday cup. What else do we have over here? Okay, the keywords over here that when our molecule hit the wall of the electrode over here, it will produce the electron. The electron dia akan bounce towards the walls to the ground. Okay, dan apabila itu berlaku, the signal also will multiple significantly. Alright, a trumpet shaped continuous dynode, often called as the channeltron, is a common implementation of the idea. So trumpet shape ni lah menyebabkan nama dia kita panggil sebagai channeltron lah. Itu je lah. Just a simple information. So ini adalah gambar yang sebenar. Lah. Okay. I'm not really sure because I have not encountered the channeltron before this. Maybe I'm not really sure if we have the channeltron in Faculty of Science or especially in UTM or not. The last one is the data system. PC Sunspot Station. You don't need to remember this. The data system is just a PC that will display your data. I think I don't want to go into details to data system, what kind of software is that. Just enough that you know the function of a data system is to store the data, to we can somehow to manipulate the data and also to display the data. Alright, okay, here we will learn a little bit different, little bit enhancement of the normal MS, which is tandem mass spectrometry. In the tandem mass spectrometry, we also known as the double MS, involve multiple step of mass spectrometry. We already discussed in the early of this chapter. Alright, so what happen is you have performed the first ionization step, and then you perform the another process of second ionization step. Okay, on the first ionization step, you actually separate your molecule and you get the mass to charge ratio that you want to determine the precursor ion. You want to determine the precursor ion, or also called as the parent ion. Okay, from the parent ion, okay, you akan send to the second step of ionization and also a mass analyzer for finding their daughter ions. Or we call as the of course we call as the product ion. Okay, we also call product ion is also called as the daughter ions. Okay, so again, your sample will go under ionization here, and here you will go through the mass analyzer, and you will get your precursor ion. From the precursor ion, okay, you are further ionized into daughter ions, or we call as the product ion also can, and then undergo second separation undergoes mass analyzer, and then for detection. Alright, okay, actually if you are using the GCMS, first of all you need to do the first step, which is the first one. You need to determine the MS only. So you will close the second section. Okay, then you will determine your parent ion, and then just reach to the detector only. After you have determined your parent ion, or we call as the precursor ion, and then you choose that precursor ion to be fragmentized in the second ionization, and also second mass separation before we reach the first detection. Okay, you will ask why we need to do this, why we need the double MS, why we need the tandem mass, why we need multiple step mass spectrometry selection. Okay, alright. The best about the double MS is that actually, okay, is actually we want to have a very unique identity of our molecule. Okay, kita sebenarnya nak jadikan analisis kita sampai ke tahap satu yang paling unik. Okay, maksudnya unik, okay, contohnya you have the preliminary and you have the confirmation. We know about that, right? We have the screening method and we have the confirmation method. That is the common analysis in the whatever kind of the chemistry we have done. Alright. In the MS, we can also imagine like that. The first one you screening. Contohnya you screening orang ni adalah lelaki atau perempuan, berapa saiz dia apa semua. Kemudian you buat a little bit, you akan masukkan detail yang lagi tinggi. Itu detail yang you tengok pada yang kecil-kecil. Tadi you tengok yang besar-besar, maksud you tengok saiz dia, you look for the gender, you look for its size. And then for the second step, you focus on its detail. For example, the fingerprints, the color of your iris, your DNA. Okay, that is what we call as the second screening lah. Okay, or we call as the confirmation of identity. So daripada you nampak yang besar-besar, you tengok pada yang sekecil-kecilnya. From the large one, you look into the very small detail of your molecule. Alright, that's why we need the mass spectrometry, tandem mass spectrometry. The best thing for the mass spectrometry, tandem mass spectrometry, you can remove almost all the background noise, and then you can go for the trace level analysis. Okay, you can go from macam mana nak cakap senang cerita. Okay, contohnya lah dekat sini, from the first ionization, you hit your molecule. Okay, you have some of the ions. Okay, for example, you have ions at 153. You only have about, mungkin daripada situ you run semua molecule, right? You run semua mixture, then you will have a multiple of compound inside your analysis. Okay, so you punya, kalau kata you tengok chromatogram too many peaks, you will obtain too many peaks. That's the problem. Okay, because why? Maybe another compound also will have the same mass MZ to charge ratio. The same mass have the same mass to charge ratio. So apa yang dia buat kat sini, kita akan cuma benarkan dekat sini lah. Okay, kita akan select satu je precursor ion yang paling unik. Contohnya kita kata, okay, kita akan pilih paling unik. Contohnya dekat compound tu kita jumpa satu je compound yang ada MZ ratio yang dekat 158 contohnya, 158. Then you want to filter the other thing. You tak nak tengok pun yang lain. Okay, daripada situ you somehow fragmentize, then you look into the daughter ions. Okay, daripada daughter ions ni you akan dapat very clear chromatogram as very clear chromatogram as well as the mass spectrometer. Okay, in the tandem mass spectrometry, we have two mass spectrometer. Same goes to the mass ionizer or ion source. Here one can take a mass spectrum of a mass spectrum. Okay, daripada buat a mass spectrum yang pertama, you cari punya precursor ion, and from that precursor ion you produce a second mass spectrum. A particular ion fragment isolated in the first stage is directed to the second phase for further fragmentation. Okay, daripada first ionization, you have already your punya ion fragment, dan you tengok mana yang paling unik, maksudnya mana yang paling abundance atau paling unik lah. Kalau you kata you compare dengan ada molekul yang lain, then you commit it for the second stage, for the second phase, for further fragmentation and also dispersion lah. Maksudnya you try to do the mass separation. Okay, two analyzers are separated by collision cell. Okay, in the collision cell is we can assume it as the second analyzer. An inert gas is emitted to collide with the selected sample ions and bring out their fragmentation. The analyzer can be the same or different types. The most common combination being quadruple. Kita selalu dengarnya quadruple lah, ataupun magnetic sector quadruple, magnetic sector quadruple time of flight. Okay, yang ni yang saya tulis sekadar untuk bagi idea, tapi sebenarnya it's not really practical. For example, we already discussed why the magnetic sector is not suitable for that particular MMS. We already discussed, but here I just give you the idea. We can combine between two type of mass analyzer, or we can just somehow use one type of mass analyzer only. Okay, the most common one I have heard is the quadruple lah. Okay, quadruple mass analyzer, they combine together. Alright, in the first mass spectrometer, MS1, we put here as the MS1 is used to select from the primary ions, ataupun kita panggil sebagai kita akan panggil sebagai precursor ion or parent ions. The ion selected by the MS1 is the parent ion lah. Can be molecular ion, boleh juga jadi molecular ion, or boleh juga jadi you punya fragment ion. Tapi yang penting it's unique and also it's abundance. You jangan pilih yang tak abundance, sebab kita dah discuss before this. Kalau you pilih yang tak abundance, bila you pecahkan, you dah lah sikit, tapi dah tak abundance, bila you pecahkan apa yang tinggal habuk je lah. Alright, further dissociation occurs in the fragmentation region, collision cell. Okay, in the middle we have the collision cell, or also we can call as the second ionization chamber. The daughter ions are analysed in the second mass spectrometer. Okay, daripada second cell tu dia second collision tu dia akan, daripada you punya parent ion dia akan further fragmentize, dan dia akan dihantar kepada second mass spectrometer. In the fact, MS1 can be viewed as an ion source for MS2. It's not really true salah ni. MS1 is not the ion source for MS2. Bagi saya yang kat tengah tu lah. Yang ni saya tulis rasanya. Okay. Okay lah, boleh. Kita boleh terima MS1 as the ion source for MS2 lah. Of course, because at the MS1 we separated our ions to precursor ion, right? Precursor ion. From the precursor ion tu, kita select as the ion source lah. Ion source. Tapi further ionization happen at the collision cell, or we can call as the second ionization chamber. Alright, okay. Yang ni yang apa yang kita tengok sebenarnya ini from the first MS. Okay. The figure above is the first MS. Okay, let's say we only focus, let's say this is from the first molecule. Here is from the first molecule, and you get the mass spectrum. And then you decide, you choose this as the unique identifier or as the precursor ion. From the precursor ion ni, you choose yang ini sahaja yang you nak fragmentize. Yang ini sahaja yang you nak fragmentize, then you akan dapat 8 daughter ions. Okay. Right. Okay. Yang ni contoh dia. Dapat sini. Kenapa kita kena ambil yang the most abundance? Okay. Kenapa kita kena ambil yang the most abundance? Kalau you ambil yang, contohnya you ambil ni, yang kalau kata ke kanan ni adalah the first MS. Yang ke belakang sana adalah second MS on the MS2. Okay, kalau you ambil yang kecil-kecil ni, you boleh dapat tak agak-agak the mass spectrum? You tak boleh dapat, sebab dia tak abundance, tak cukup. Macam ni kan, bila you ambil ini yang sederhana, you dapat mungkin satu je. Kalau you ambil kecil, terus tak dapat langsung apa-apa. But that's why you need to select a unique and also the abundance. The unique one and also the abundant one. Let's say from the whole, okay, yang ni melambangkan untuk satu compound kan. Kalau contohnya you have 10 compounds, and 10 compounds you have 10 mass spectrum. From the 10 mass spectrum, you need to somehow select the unique precursor ion for that particular compound you want to analyze. For example, you nak analyze explosive C4. Okay, C4 dia ada own spectrum, mass spectrum. Okay, then tiba-tiba dalam tu dia ada mixture, contohnya you guna ethanol pun detected. Ethanol also they have a lot of spectrum, dia orang juga ada a lot of fragment ions. Okay, from the explosive you only focus, you compare between the mass spectrum, which from the explosive one have the the ion, the fragment ion that is abundant and also unique from the alcohol. Contohnya tiba-tiba you punya explosive percampuran alkohol, you tengok mana yang unik pada dekat you punya explosive punya ions tu, yang itu yang you further fragmentize, you submit as the precursor ion for to get the daughter ions. Okay, that's why here, okay, again, why we need to choose the abundance one and the unique one lah. Kalau you tak choose the abundant one, you tak dapat apa-apa. Kalau you choose not the unique one, okay, contohnya compound 1, you tak choose the unique precursor ion, compound 2 pun ada that compound yang you tak nak pun ada that precursor ion, is useless. Okay, dia akan dapat detected dalam you punya sistem juga. So you kena cari yang unique, tapi dalam masa yang sama you kena cari yang abundance. Okay, let's look. Okay, I have my a little bit experience on the tandem mass spectrometry, so I think we can look into my thesis. Alright, I do analysis of explosive using GCMS-MS, but the problem is with the explosive that some of my compound is not really stable to hit, and from 30 compound I think I can detect about 7 to 8 compounds only. Okay, here is the figure of the tandem mass spectrometry. You have the ionization source. After we have the color over here, and you have the first quadrupole. The first quadrupole is to separate your ions, right? At the second quadrupole over here, okay, it's not really second quadrupole lah. Kita panggil saja collision cell. Kita tak nak get confused sebab tadi saya kata MS1, here is MS2. Okay, second quadrupole here is actually the collision cell. Okay, it's actually the collision cell ataupun kita panggil second ionization chamber lah. Okay, so dia akan further dissociate into fragment ions. Okay, then we have the third quadrupole here. Okay, to further separate your ions. Okay, sebab tu kadang-kadang kita dengar juga tandem mass spectrometry we call as the triple quadrupole ataupun kita panggil double MMS lah. Kalau dipanggil sebagai triple quadrupole, it mean that you have the collision cell is also in the quadrupole form. Okay. Okay. Lepas tu akan reach our detector. Okay, the first step, you need to have multiple reaction monitoring. This means that you scan everything. You tengok kepada all the compounds you have in your sample. Okay. Okay, you perform the MS1 scan, you have everything. All the compound you have over here, right? Okay. Alright, then after you scan, you select the precursor ion. Contohnya saya ada 8 compound lah. Saya ada 8 compound, saya nak tengok kepada each of the compound, saya akan select dia punya precursor ion ataupun kita panggil unique identifier lah. Okay, atau kita panggil sebagai parent ion as well, so can. Okay, then you survey the product ion and then you select product ions lah. Lepas tu set your everything is complete. Okay, ini you punya step. Okay, at the Q1 you already separated, at the Q2 you further fragmentize, at the Q3 you mass analyzer lagi lah, you split lagi. Okay, ini mass spectrum for 4-nitrobenzylnitrile. Here what I have chosen as the parent ion, as the precursor ion. Okay, contohnya 4-nitrobenzylnitrile I choose at 110 4-nitrobenzylnitrile. Okay, ini molecular weight precursor I choose at 102. Because I have a lot of compound over here, so another compound I have chosen their selected precursor ion. Okay. Okay, so yang ni contohnya lah. Okay, daripada you punya precursor ion ni, you akan tengok you punya product ion lah. Okay, product ion mana yang you nak tengok saja. Okay, nanti you akan dapat a very clean, daripada yang tadi you nampak yang kecil comel lote tadi, chromatogram. After you have done your improvisation, then you will get a better chromatogram with a lack of noise. Okay, saya akan bagi you guys contoh. Okay, yang ni contoh bila you run the real sample. Okay, ada ke? Okay, yang ni you run the real sample. Bila you run the real sample using the MS only, you will get a lot of noise because our sample is very trace level. Okay, bila saya compare HPLC dengan GC can go to the PPB level for detection of explosive, but for the HPLC can go to the PPM level. So bila kita nampak kat sini, kita akan tengok a lot of noise. So that's why we submit for the MMS. Instead we only use the MS1, we use also the MS2 as well. So what happen bila kita guna, we hantar kepada MMS, we can reduce all the background noise, so we can see our peak of analyte of interest better. Okay, so okay, here is the example. Okay, UP is the unknown peak. Again, walaupun you punya compound kita dah further fragmentize, we have the, it's not impossible actually for the other compound to have the same product ion. Okay, yang ni, okay, ni contohnya kan. Okay, kita nak analyze to for DNT, we chosen the same parent ion, we choose a precursor ion. Tapi tak mustahil juga ada compound yang lain, yang unknown compound yang lain yang ada juga precursor ion. Okay, saya tekan kat situ. Again, it's not possible, it's not impossible if actually we have chosen for our compound of analysis, we have chosen the precursor ion. It's not impossible that the other compound, the unknown compound that we don't want also have the same precursor ion. And it's not impossible as well that the other compound that have the same precursor ion, dia akan also produce the same fragment ion, or we call as the daughter ion, sorry, or they also can also produce the same daughter ion. Dia orang juga boleh produce the daughter ions, tapi of course the retention time will be different lah, because we already sprayed via the chromatography, they will detect later on. So kat sini, why the existence of the unknown peak lah, we call as the UP2. Okay, antara contoh yang baik lah. Okay, yang ni kalau contohnya TIC ni total ion chromatography, yang ni standard pre-blast, yang ni after post-blast. Okay, we actually seen a lot of noise. I'm not sure what happened, suddenly missing. Okay, can I have another thing? Cuba you tengok kat sini, mass spectrum view, berapa banyak mass spectrum view. Okay, ni the first MS lah, from the first MS. Kalau kata we have chosen only 148 as the unit identifier, kalau you check this mass spectrum after the second MS, you can only see all the 148. Yang lain ni akan tak ada, sebab you dah tapis dah everything. I'm not sure what's the problem. Can I have I think I have a problem with my PDF thesis. Okay, but that's for the example from my thesis. Alright, the next one we go to hyphenated technique. Hyphenated technique is mean we combine the technique with other technique to get a better result. Okay, kita combine the hyphenated techniques ni bila we obtain a sample that is complex actually. For example, if you run only on the GC ECD or you run on the GC FID, you obtain an ample amount of or the gigantic amount of peaks. You cannot determine, oh betul ke yang ni come from my sample, or is it the same with the standard or not. So you need to confirm, because we know that in our surrounding there, it's not impossible for that the compound that we are not interested in will have the same retention time, will somehow overlap with our analyte of interest. So to ensure that the analysis is confirmed, we can confirm, that's why we need the hyphenated techniques. Either you combine with the MS, the most common one, of course, you combine with the MS. What is the best about MS, you can always look into their spectrum, and you can always look to the library, so you can confirm. And if the problem still existed with that, so you can combine with the other MS, so you can obtain a very unique identifiers. These complex systems are best handled by front-ending mass spectrometer with a chromatographic expression scheme. So you combine the chromatographic and the mass spectrometer. Okay, let's say kalau you guna MALDI, in the multi system, you only somehow laser beam on the plate and then you analyze on the mass spectrometer. But the problem is, if your sample is not if your sample is not if your sample is pure, then it's okay. But if your sample is not pure, then it will become a problem. Then you need to somehow separate your mixture first, then you submit for mass spectrometer analysis. That is by you combine the chromatographic and also the mass spectrometer. So some example of the hyphenated technique: GCMS, LCMS, CEMS, ICP-MS. Whatever thing with the MS is the hyphenated technique, which is very good for the analysis. You can confirm the presence of that particular compound. But the weakness of the hyphenated technique is that maybe the sensitivity of GCMS, for example, for the analysis of the pesticide. For example, you want to analysis paraquat. Maybe the analysis using the GCMS, the sensitivity is not that good compared to GCECD. Let's say, for example, like that lah. If you want, for example, to analysis alcohol using GCFID, the sensitivity is very great if you compare to GCMS. Okay. Alright. Okay. The next one, we want to learn about interpreting the spectra. Okay, I'm not really sure why this slide happened again, but from here again, your molecular will go under ionization by from the electron beam. They will hit you with the electron, remove the electron from your molecule. Your molecule will have less electron but extra proton. The number of proton is more than number of electrons, so become positively charged, become radical cation. Radical cation can stay as the molecular ion and also can produce the fragment ion. Okay, that's how it's happened. Okay, and also you produce the radical cation. Radical cation will somehow neutralize when they react with their own radical cation. Okay, we already go through the glossary again. Molecular ion, the ion obtained by the loss of one electron from the molecule. The base peak, the most intense peak in the MS, assign 100% capacity. Radical cation, you have positive charge species with an odd number of electron, which also represent of your molecular ion. Fragment ions, lighter cation, which is when your molecular ion decompose to the stable fragment ion. Okay, MZ mass to charge ratio. Alright. Okay. Right. Okay. Here is some example of spectra of methanol. Okay. We have the molecular ion peak over here is 32, is even, so we can somehow suggest the molecule is methanol, or maybe we can also suggest the other compound we have the same MZ. But also again, because of the fragment ions over here, you have the 31, right? H2C double bond OH. Okay, as the fragment ions, you can know the information of the functional groups, and so then you can obtain a very good structural information of the whole molecule. Okay, as we can see over here, we have the base peak of this compound, the MZ at 31, the abundance 100%, the percentage abundance 100%, and then you have the other thing lah, KSH3. okay, the last one lah. Okay, right, here is for the methanol. I think it's very clear, right? Okay, the question may ask you like this. Okay, here is the mass spectrum of the methanol. From this amount of the MZ ratio, please suggest the structure. So you need to calculate the structure. Okay, for example, you need somehow to come up with this structure lah. Okay, contohnya, kalau kata dekat 15 ni, you need to come up with the structure. Then dia akan mungkin akan cakap, okay, for the mass spectrum, please describe, or not describe, please draw atau give the formula of the molecular ion. Okay, you need somehow to draw this, atau you need somehow come up with this. Kalau kata, okay, please come up with the formula of the base peak lah. So you need to provide the structure of this lah. Okay, alright. fragmentation pattern, to obtain such information at least the functional group. Rule: CC bond weaker than CH bond, fragmentation most likely at branch. Positively charged remains with fragment with most branching. Okay, kalau tengok pada fragmentation pattern, the fragmentation will occur more at the CC compared to CH. Positive charge remains with the fragment with most branching. Okay, the cationic charge akan terbentuk selalunya ataupun the most happen abundance dekat pada branch yang lagi banyak. Okay, yang tu just a basic principle on the fragmentation pattern lah. Okay, again, the fragmentation prefer on the CC bond compared to the CH bond. Lepas tu, the cationic ion charge will occur most likely at the fragment with the most branching. Okay, tapi tak semestinya dekat fragment yang dekat less branching tu je tak happen, but the abundance is less compared to the part with the more branch. Okay, alright. Peak height is the next fragmentation pattern. Peak height is the stability of ion. The more stable an ion is, the more likely it is to form. The more of a particular sort of ion that form, the higher its peak height will be. Maksudnya daripada mass spectrum tu, kalau kata your ion is very stable, it's more likely to form, so you will get pore abundance lah. Contohnya you ni lah. It means that kalau kata you punya ion is stable, dia akan tinggi lah, ataupun 100% lah kat sini, 100% of the abundance, relative abundance. Kalau you punya tak stabil, dia akan rendah lah. Kalau kata sangat tak stabil, dia sangat coek je, ataupun dia coek je, dia sikit je, so it means that your ion is not stable. It will the peak height of the mass spectrum will be very less if your ion is not stable. Okay, the importance of spreading charge around in making ion stable. The general rule of thumb that is charge very localized, the ion is much less stable than if the charge is spread out over the several atom. Okay, kalau kata tengok kat sini, the charge je sangat localized, so it's not stable. Tapi kalau you punya charge je spread, lagi banyak je spread macam ni kan, je spread pada kiri dan kanan, so it means that it's more stable compared to primary ion. Primary is very localized, dia boleh spread kepada sebelah saja. Kalau dekat sini dia boleh spread kiri dan kanan. Kalau tertiary ion, dia akan boleh spread kiri, kanan dan juga bawah. Kalau kata atas lah. So if we look here, the tertiary ion is much more stable and should be more abundance. Kalau kata kat sini lah, yang ni probably the tertiary ion, here is the secondary ion, here maybe is the primary ion. Okay, electron pushing effect of the CH3 group is placing more and more negative charge on the positive carbon as you go from the primary, secondary to tertiary carbon. The positive charge is being spread out over more and more atoms as you go from the primary, secondary to tertiary ion. The more you can spread the positive charge around, the more stable the ion become. Okay, we have the positive charge, negative charge, blah, whatever it is. As you can spread out your charge much better, yes, it's more stable the ion to form. Alright. Okay, jangan get confused kat sini kita panggil dia punya electronegativity or localized blah blah blah. But the spread of charge kat sini yang positif ni, kalau dia boleh spread ke kiri saja, it's not that stable compared to here lah. Dia boleh pergi kiri, kanan, bawah, it's more stable. Alright, let's go to the next slide. Okay, fragmentation pattern. Here is your compound. Okay, here is your compound. Okay, as we already learned about this, tertiary carbon or tertiary molecule will become more stable ion. Okay, so yang ni lagi tinggi lah. Okay, yang ini secondary, bagi saya mungkin yang ni lah dia. Okay, the primary cuma CH3 mungkin 15 tak ada 15 ni, 15 sikit cuek je kalau ada pun muncul. Okay, MZ 57, you boleh kira lah 12 darab 4 plus 9. Okay, kira. Okay, yang ni lah, you kena somehow, okay, yang ni berapa, then you need to come out with the suggested structure. So you kena kira, mungkin sini carbon 12 proton, so 12 darab darab 4 you dapat 12, 24, 36, 48, 48. H you ada 3 darab 3, 9. So 48 tambah 9 you dapat 57. Okay, so betul tak? So here is about 57. So here is your base peak lah. Base peak. Okay. Alright. Alright. In the next slide, we will learn about the alcohol. Okay. Compared to the previous one is the compound of hydrocarbon without any functional group or any special functional group, only branch or no branch only. Here we learn about the alcohol. Okay. For alcohol, the mass spectrum, the existence of the molecular ion, sometimes it exists, sometimes not lah. In this particular case, we don't have the molecular ion. The molecular ion is not existed. Alright. Cleavage of the CC bond next to the oxygen usually occurs. In the alcohol, the cleavage ataupun kita panggil pemotongan, the cutting, the fragmentation usually occurs after the C with the oxygen. Okay, dia akan potong sini atau sini lah. Again, if your, let's say for example here is the primary, here is the primary, if you have, in the other side you have the secondary or tertiary, usually they will cut on the one at the primary lah, sebab dia akan pilih yang lagi stabil. Kalau contohnya kat kawasan ni kita ada combine, here is carbon, here is another carbon, so this one become tertiary, then here kita akan potong kat sini. Okay, kalau contohnya the thing here, we have the another carbon over here, definitely dia akan potong kat sini lah, yang ni become cationic. Alright, if that is the situation happen lah. Okay, let's say dia bagi you, yang ni bagi compound yang easy. Kalau kata dia bagi compound yang susah, let's say for example the question given you the structure of complex compounds, so given the secondary or tertiary alcohol, so please somehow provide where it should be fragmented. Okay. Right, the next one is the aldehyde. In the aldehyde, the cleavage of bonds next to the carboxyl group result in the loss of hydrogen. Okay. In the aldehyde, the most preferred thing dia akan lost the hydrogen dekat yang hujung sekali lah, after the C double bond O. Dia akan cleavage kat sini. Dia akan fragmentize dekat sini. Yang ni adalah dia yang paling stable lah, dia punya kedudukan. Okay. And you for the carboxyl, for the aldehyde, you still will have the what we call as the molecular ion. Molecular ion is still there. Okay. Or you can lose as well. The next one you can lose the C double bond OH, dia akan potong dekat sini. Yang ni the next, the preferable one for the cutting one lah, if you want to cut out. Okay. So kat sini ni apa yang berlaku lah. Okay. Again, kalau kata untuk aldehyde, the most preferred one for the cleavage, after the C double bond O, dia akan potong dekat H ni, dia akan lost one lah, -1. Okay, ataupun dia akan buang C double bond O H kat sini. Yang ni the most common cleavage. The first one dia akan prefer yang ni, the second one dia akan prefer yang ni lah. Okay. Okay, if we see the next most stable here is the 51 over here. Okay, dia potong kat sini. So 51 ni dia agak stabil tau sebenarnya. Dia agak stabil. So it also can be abundance. Okay, bila dia potong kat sini, sama ada kat sini positif atau kat sini positif. Sini pun boleh jadi positif, sini boleh jadi radical cation. Radical molecule. Kalau bahagian sini yang jadi cation, sini akan jadi radical. So it's actually equal to each other. But I think the most important thing you need to remember about this lah, the first two thing. The first two thing here, for the aldehyde dia akan buang H ataupun dia akan buang C double bond OH, dia akan buang 29 lah. Okay. The molecular ion is still there. If we can see here, it's 132, right? Okay. Okay, again, let's say for example, given you guys the structure and then given you guys the spectrum, okay, then let's say please provide for the structure for X, Y, Z. For example, maybe A and B provide, okay, maybe the question asks you what is the molecular, what is the base peak, 131, and from the answer you have chosen, please provide the molecular structure. Then you need to provide the structure, you need somehow to draw. Or maybe for the 132, just given you this thing, okay, please provide the structure. Hopefully not until hopefully the question is not until that detail lah. Okay, but that happen, please forgive me. Right. Alright, in the next slide, we will look into the fragmentation pattern for amine, whatever you can call. Molecular ion peak is an odd number. Alpha cleavage dominates aliphatic amine. Okay, molecular ion is an odd number. Okay, about amine, the molecular ion peak is an odd number because the number of valence electron at nitrogen is actually odd as well. Okay, and butylamine with molecular weight 73. Okay, alpha cleavage dominating aliphatic amines. Okay, the domination here is the aliphatic amine, which means that CH2 dia akan potong kat sini lah. Okay, the cleavage, fragmentation or cationic will occur mostly on the amine side, the aliphatic amine. Aliphatic amine is the carbon chain with the amine lah, dia akan potong dekat sini. So we have 30 lot here, we have the molecular as well, molecular mass as well. Do we have over here? No, because it's very limited actually, because the most abundance, the most kata paling stable is this one, aliphatic amine, CH2 and H2. Okay, ini lah. Right. Kita ada ke yang ada side ni? Darjah side ni, let's say we calculate 12 darab 3, 36 campur 40, 43. We have the 43 around here, but it's not that much. It's still there, but it's not that much. It means that it's not really stable. The most stable one is the aliphatic amine. Alright, aliphatic amine. Here is what we call aliphatic amine. Alright. Right. The next one is carboxylic acid, fragmentation pattern of for the carboxylic acid. Right. In the carboxylic acid as well, the prefer of the what we say, the prefer kebiasaan je lah, the common cleavage, the most prefer cleavage is after or before C double bond OO. Kalau kata kat sini, dia akan potong kat sini lah. Kalau dia kata potong kat sini, we can observe the molecular mass or MZ to charge ratio over here is 69. Kalau kata dia potong kat sini, we get about 45 atau kita kira kat sini 41 lah. Okay, kalau kita tengok sini, the 41 other than molecular ion peak, the 41 is the most abundant one. Okay, and we have the 45 belong to C double bond OOH, and C69 belong to this one lah. Okay, how about this one? Is about 39. I'm not really sure where is it. Maybe you can try to calculate. Right. Alright. The next one is the ester. The fragments appear due to bond cleavage next to C double bond O by removing the alkoxy group. Okay, so kat sini kalau kita nampak, kat sini alkoxy group, kat sini C double bond O. For the ester, dia prefer this one lah. Dia akan prefer this one, dia akan remove the alkoxy group. Okay, then we have the hydrogen rearrangement as well. Okay, so maksudnya boleh berlakunya hydrogen rearrangement. For example, here, if we calculate here, 12 particle by 2, 24, 24 plus 16, 40 plus 3, 43. The 43 is the most major one, the most stable one. And because of hydrogen rearrangement, we have 44 over here. In the meanwhile, we also have the cationic form over here. It's not impossible, it's still there, but it's not abundance. If we can see over here, it's just little only, 45 over here, right? We can see over here. Right. Okay, I think that's it for ester. Okay. The next one is ether. The ether, the fragmentation occur alpha to the oxygen atom. The C double C bond next to the oxygen. Okay. In the case of ether we have the COC, right? The cleavage or the fragmentation will occur after the at the C double C bond after the C and O here lah. Kalau kata kita have CO here, dia akan pergi ke sini. Kalau we have C over there, dia akan pergi C ke sana. Okay. Alright, the next one is ether. Fragmentation tends to occur alpha to the oxygen atom. Okay, the fragmentation tends to occur alpha to the oxygen atom. Maksudnya kalau we have the COC here, dia akan potong sebelah COC lah, sama dekat sana atau kat sana. Alright, but from my reading, dia tak semestinya yang ini yang akan jadi abundance. Dia tak mustahil yang ini boleh jadi abundance. Tak mustahil But depends on the situation. Kalau kata contohnya kat sini we have the longer chain, kemungkinan sini boleh jadi lagi stabil lah. Contohnya CH3, CH2, CH3 ke kat sini. Okay, ni akan jadi stabil. Kalau kata kita kat sini kita ada double chain or triple primary bond kat sini, we have secondary or tertiary bond kat sini, so sini akan jadi stabil, so the abundance over here is much more larger. Okay, kalau kat sini kita ada just CH3, kat sini kita ada primary or secondary, dia akan potong dekat sini, kat sini akan jadi lagi stabil, so kat sini akan jadi lagi abundance. Alright, but for the ether, what you need to what the important is the alpha or the primary cleavage happen at the next at the C bond after the COC lah. Okay, antara selepas yang ni COC ni dia akan potong dekat lepas tu. Okay, kat situ. Ni contohnya. Tapi tak semestinya ini adalah abundance atau yang di depends on the situation. But usually kita akan bagi the mass spectrum and then you need to somehow give the structure formula. You need to draw or you need to suggest by drawing the suitable molecular structure. Okay. Alright, the next one is fragmentation pattern for halide group. Alright, the presence of chlorine or bromine is usually recognizable from the isotopic peaks. Isotopic peaks mean that you have two molecular ion peak you can observe. That is, you have the molecular ion peak plus 2. The plus 2 is for the isotope lah. Okay, for example, you have 79 bromine, you have 81 bromine. Okay, that is the isotope for bromine. Kalau kata you ada chlorine 35 and chlorine 37. So you have two molecular ion peaks. Right, but the cleavage for the halide group, fragmentation pattern, that is by removing the halide group, that you from the remaining one you will get the most abundance base peak lah. Okay, kat situ. Right, I think it's very simple for halide. As long you can observe two isotopic peaks, it means that halide group is present. Halide group is present. Alright. Right. The next one is the ketone. Major fragmentation peak result in cleavage of the C bond adjacent to the carbonyl. Okay. Kalau kita nampak kat sini untuk C double bond O again, the favorite cleavage is here or here lah. Is here or here. Okay. So kalau dia ada kat sini sama je sebab because we have the symmetrical fragmentation symmetrical ketone over here. Okay, the cutting can be here, or either you can have the information on this one or you can get the information on this one. Okay, but the most abundant one is for the alkyl group only. The most abundant one is the alkyl group. Okay, the C double bond O is not the most abundant. The most abundant one is the alkyl group. But if you have, for example, over here you have the secondary one, it should be, for example, you have the secondary one, dia akan potong kat sini. Contoh you have the secondary carbon, tertiary carbon over here, dia akan potong kat sini, yang ni akan jadi lagi abundance. Okay. Kalau contohnya kat sini you ada secondary, you ada tertiary. So kalau compare kat sini, dia akan potong kat sini ke dia potong kat sini? Dia akan potong kat sini. Dia akan cleavage kat sini. Jadi kalau kata we have the primary, secondary carbon or tertiary carbon dekat it's not symmetrical ketone lah. Kalau kata it's not symmetrical ketone, dia akan potong dekat C double bond O dan dia akan potong, so yang the most stable one is at the secondary or tertiary alkyl group kat sini. Okay. Kalau tengok kat sini abundance one kita kat sini kan, dia guna alkyl group. Okay, kalau dia primary, secondary or tertiary, dia akan lagi abundance. Okay. 114 is the molecular ion peak. You have 71 as the next one lah. Okay, sebab you potong sini, you sama ada either you have this or you have the whole this thing. You have 43, you have 71 over here. Okay, sebab ini dia just potong sini, ni mungkin akan keliru, you somehow get confused, but actually dia just potong sini, so either you get the radical here or you get radical here, you get cationic here, you get cationic there. Tapi kalau kata anda contoh separuh, it's not symmetrical again, here is secondary, here you have the tertiary here, dia akan potong kat sini, this one become your most abundance. Okay, yang lain ni ada, but it's not that great lah, dia punya kata abundance dia, relative abundance is not that great. Okay. Alright, we have done on the fragmentation patterns. We will go into advantages and disadvantages for the mass spectrometry. The best thing ever about mass spectrometry, you can obtain the molecular weight from the fragmentation pattern. You can get the information about functional group, and then you can somehow obtain a very good structural information of your molecular compound. Alright, and the next one does not involve absorption and emission of light, so it does not require our sample to be absorb UV or not, can somehow uh, have the chromophore or not. It's not necessary, right? Detection limit is better. I'm not really sure about that. For the mass, if we go for the MSMS, probably yes. But in some kind of the detector, if you compare, for example, when you see of ethanol, we using GCFID compared to the MS, of course, GCFID could give you a better detection limit. Alright, but generally, I think, yeah, we should agree detection limit is better if we compare using the HPLC UV. If you compare to the UV, yeah, probably, if you compare to the UV, probably the detection limit is better lah. Alright, if we compare, for example, other that use, for example, ECD, if you compare with the FID, it's actually depend on the specification of that particular detector. But if you compare to the UV, probably yes. Generally, your MS is much more better detection limit. Alright, simple spectra that are unique and easily interpreted. Of course, it's easy. Okay, you just somehow can suggest based on the mass to charge ratio. You can suggest what kind of function group presence, and you can from the fragmentation group, you can combine all the function group to form a very generally what is the structural information of your analyte of interest or molecule of interest. Ability to measure isotopic ratios. Again, for analysis of halide, it can also present it can also detect the presence of the isotopic molecule. Okay. Disadvantage, the cost of mass spectrometry, of course, is too expensive if you compare to the normal instrument. For example, ATR, FTIR is about what, 100,000 to 100,000, but for GCMS it can reach about 500,000 to 1 million ringgit. If you have the MMS, you can probably have more than that. The price is much more expensive. High instrument drift, 5%, 5 to 10% per hour deviation in reading. I'm not really sure about this. Let me think a little while. Okay. For the time being, I'm not really sure about the instrument drift, deviation in reading. As long we perform the reproducibility, repeatability, and we get about 90%, I don't think it should be a problem. Maybe the old instrument have this kind of problem. Interference effect may occur. Okay, this happen if we only use, for example, if we use batch or direct inlet system. If we use continuous system, it should be okay. I think some of this slide I actually taken out from the old slide that said that the inlet or direct inlet system, batch or direct inlet system is the most common one. But nowadays continuous inlet system is the most common one lah. Saya rasa ini lama punya lah, dia tak very accurate. For disadvantage, for MS, cost 2 or 3 times highest. That I agree, it's expensive. But again, kalau kata saya lebih suka bincang detection limit, or kata detection limit of the mass spectrometer is more general, it's not very specific. So detection limit is limited in the mass spectrometry. Kalau kata itu, you say in my opinion. Kalau kata tanya pun soalan dalam examination you jawab macam ni pun, I still can give you the answers. Kalau you jawab macam mana saya jawab pun, I will give you the answer as well. Because from my opinion, from my experience, that GCMS is very good, but on some kind of analytes that is very special, for such as pesticides or alcohol, you better go for GCECD or you go for the GCFID. That's from my experience lah. Kalau kata you nak guna my punya opinion boleh. Kalau kata you nak jenis PG punya slide ni, kalau kata tiba-tiba dalam examination asks what is the advantages or disadvantages, you can also use this kind of answer. It's nothing wrong. but maybe in the next year or next batch I will update about this. Alright. Alright, how do mass spectrometer gets their names? Depend on the ion source and it depends on the type of mass analyzer. For example, they actually combine the ion source and the mass analyzer. For example, ESI quadruple, ESI ion trap. Sebab tu you boleh nampak macam contohnya multi TOF. Okay, maksudnya you combine the ion source and the mass analyzer, you get the name. Okay, tapi jarang kalau kata itu GCMS tak pernah lagi lah. Bukan jarang, ada je orang tu dalam jurnal. There is some authors write in their journals, for example gas chromatography ESI quadruple, ya, ada buat macam tu. But commonly for GCMS they just say GCMS. Ada yang tulis GCMMS, ada yang nak tulis ada just yang nak just tulis yang maksudnya lagi advance, they just write gas chromatography triple quadruple. Kalau kata nak buat nama tu macam catchy sikit lah. Okay, but the basic thing they just combine the ion source in the mass analyzer, so they get the name. Tapi boleh cakap GCMS, senang cerita. Cuma kalau kata dia nak buat lagi power, contohnya nak kata LCMS, nak kata nama tu lagi gempak, dia buat lah liquid chromatography ESI TOF, dia buat spesifik. So nanti orang tahu ion source dia apa, dia akan tahu mass analyzer dia apa. That's why better. Tapi kalau kata nanti kalau kata dia buat nama contohnya LCMS, nanti on the part of the instrument dia akan bagi tahu sebenarnya what is the ion source, what is the type of mass analyzer they use. Cuma dia nak bagi nama tu gempak sikit, so dia combine macam tu lah. Contohnya LC ESI TOF, jadi macam tu. Okay, so I think we already reached the end of our lecture. Forgive me if my lecture is not that clear. If you have some comment section, then you can comment on the comment section on the YouTube, and you can somehow just mention there at what times, what minutes of the slide that you not understand. Okay, ataupun which part of this lecture is that you are not able to understand. Alright. Okay, good luck. Thank you.